With Yankee Stadium in their rear-view mirror, the Cubs arrive in Milwaukee and look to future Hall of Famer Greg Maddux to stop the bleeding. Good things have been known to happen north of the border, so if you're a true fan, you gotta believe. We greet you from Miller Park, just up I-94 here in Milwaukee, as the Cubs are back in the Midwest after a rough weekend in New York. They were swept by the Yankees, and tonight they'll try to snap a 4-game losing streak as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers in Game 1 of a 4-game series. And great to have you with us. Beautiful night for baseball here in Milwaukee. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. And for the Cubs, they've given up a lot of runs lately. And, Bob, we got to start by talking about a bullpen that has given up too many runs and home runs.
No question about it. They've given up runs. They've given up hits. They've given up walks. 53 base runners in 26 2/3 innings pitched. If you add the hits and the walks, 11 home runs. I think in a nutshell, they've been too fine early in the count, falling behind hitters, and then they have to come over the plate, and when they do that, they've been getting hit hard.
It'll be interesting to see how the Cubs approach Carlos Lee tonight. The two Lees in this series have been very, very good this year.
Well, if one Lee isn't leading the league, the other one is. Both these guys have been outstanding, both tremendous power hitters, both just good hitters. That was the big hit by Carlos Lee to win the ball game when we played here in Milwaukee earlier this season. And should be a lot of fun in this series. You see Carlos Lee's average at 281, 17 homers. Only A-Rod with 61 homers has more than Carlos Lee.
And Carlos Lee with his 29th birthday today. And, of course, he is in the lineup for Milwaukee tonight. Starting pitchers, Greg Maddux for the Cubs, and Tomo-Oka will make his second start for the Brewers.
Greg Maddux coming off probably his worst outing of the year, lasted only 3 2/3 innings. Tomo-Oka coming off his best outing of the year, a complete game shutout, the first shutout of his career against Tampa Bay.
And he was just acquired from Washington for second baseman Junior Spivey. So we're getting set for baseball tonight. Greg Maddux looking to tie Tom Seaver for 17th on the all-time wins list. We'll have baseball from Milwaukee next. Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Chevy. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealer today. Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. Your local area Lexus dealer who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Aflac, ask about it at work. Toyota, choose any direction as long as it's moving forward. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, shining through. Your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. Check out our new models at lincolnmercury.com. Midas, trust the Midas touch. Corona, miles away from the ordinary. And by Southwest Airlines, nonstop service to over 59 destinations all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom.
Chevy's proud to have the best-selling full-size SUVs 5 years in a row, like Tahoe, with best-in-class fuel economy. We've always broken the rules. Now we're rewriting them. Introducing for the first time ever, the Chevy employee discount for everyone. You pay what we pay, not a cent more. Get an 05 Tahoe LS 4-wheel drive with an MSRP of $40,365 for a Chevy employee discount price of $31,315 after cash back. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealer today.
What I seek every single day is perfection. I want you to guess how many checks we process each day. Try more than 40 million, more than any other company in America. But what's truly impressive is the accuracy with which we take care of them. I'm Lance Drummond, I'm a banker, and I'm proud to be part of Bank of America. If you weren't a perfectionist, you couldn't do this job. One error in a million is simply unacceptable. So at Bank of America, we customize our own equipment. We engineer our own software, create our own quality control systems. To us, this is like an assembly line that is mission critical, meaning zero defects. This isn't about processing nearly 11 billion checks a year flawlessly. It's a matter of accurately handling one single check and then repeating it 11 billion times.
Bank of America, higher standards.
And welcome back to Miller Park. A lot of Cubs fans, as always, have headed north for this series. And big crowds expected for this 4-game series. 3 night games and then getaway day on Thursday afternoon. And the Cubs come in 1 game over 500 at 34 and 33. But they've dropped 4 straight in 6 of their last 7. And let's check out the Cubs starting lineup, written out by Dusty Baker and brought to you by Southwest. Neifi Perez had a rough day yesterday, had a rough series offensively in New York, went 0 for 14. Corey Patterson in center, bats second. Derek Lee hitting .389. Jeremy Brunitz, the former Brewer, cleaning up. Aramis Ramirez at third, Todd Walker at second, Todd Hollinsworth out in left field. Henry Blanco, another former Brewer, back of the plate, and he'll catch Greg Maddux tonight.
Take a look at the Brew crew defensively. That guy Carlos Lee in left field, Brady Clark in center, Jeff Jenkins in right, Cirillo, Hall, Weeks, and Overbay across the infield. Damian Miller behind the plate tonight for right-hander Tomo Oka. See his numbers on the season. We mentioned in the open, coming off his best outing of the year, went 9 strong innings against Tampa Bay, scattered 9 hits, and pitched the first shutout of his major league career. Right-handers have had much better success than lefties against Oka this year, partially because his signature pitch is a cut fastball, a very naturally cut fastball. And that's a pitch that's devastating to left-handed hitters, as we saw in New York from Mariano Rivera.
Well, Milwaukee coming off a 3-6 road trip. They did win their final 2 games of the trip in Toronto. But Milwaukee comes in 6 games under 500 at 31 and 37, as you see the scouting report on the righty Tomo Oka.
Now that last point is probably the most important one. He'll use any of his pitches in any count, has confidence that he can throw either his cutter, his sinker, his slider. He also throws a splitter and a changeup, and he feels very confident he can throw any of those pitches in any count to any hitter.
So Neifi will dig in. And we're set for game 1 tonight. Cubs were swept here in Milwaukee the last time they were in early May in a first pitch strike to Neifi Perez. Cornerman in against a guy who certainly is known to lay down a bunt or two. Jeff Cirillo in at third. And that pitch is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs are 9.5 out of the National League Central. Biggest deficit they've had to face thus far in their own division. But they're in second place. Milwaukee right now in 4th place, 13 games out. There's a little bouncer toward Ricky Weeks, who will throw to Overbay. And that's out number 1. You mentioned the deficit in the division. The Cubs are 2.5 out in the National League wild card, and still too early. Dusty said before the game, he said, I hate seeing the Cardinals win while we lose. He said we have a lot of games against the Cardinals in the second half, and the only thing you can do is win. Just control your own destiny.
You just have to believe in the cycles of the game, that at some point the Cardinals are going to suffer some injuries to key people. They're going to possibly go in an offensive slump. Maybe their pitchers won't pitch quite as well as they have been, but you can't worry about what the Cardinals do at this point. You just have to take care of your own business, try to be more consistent on a daily basis.
Well, the Cubs have, I believe, 14 games remaining against the Cardinals. Haven't even played them at home yet. There's a 1-0 pitch to Corey Patterson, lined and caught by Overbay. So quickly 2 outs.
Well, hit very hard by Corey Patterson. Unfortunately, just a step or 2 to the left of Lyle Overbay. Yeah, for a big guy, he is quietly agile down there at first. He doesn't do anything that really opens your eyes athletically, but he just seems to make all the plays.
Now Derek Lee with nobody on base. Bill Rogers of the Chicago Tribune pointed out that Derek didn't have a lot of chances with men on base in that Yankee series as you see the big exaggerated shift, which I think is remarkable considering what the scouting report used to be on Derek Lee. He still has power the other way, but we've talked so much about his ability now to turn on inside pitches.
I think this also is an indication that Tomohooka is going to have to pitch on the inside part of the plate for the most part. Stay away from hard stuff away from Derek Lee, which is a pitch he could very easily shoot to the right side, and Lyle Overbay is the only guy over there to flag down anything hit that way.
The 1-2 is fouled away. Well, Derek Lee versus Carlos Lee. Derek leading in the batting average and slugging by a wide margin, but the home runs and the RBIs pretty similar. Derek hitting .413 on the road, leading the league. .383 at night, leading the league, and .380 against righties, leading the league. So this should be a good matchup for him tonight. He hits that one high in the air. It's deep. Carlos Lee back on the warning track, and that ball's out of here. Well, he was just 4 for 21 against Milwaukee this year when he hits his 19th home run on a 1-2 pitch.
Well, there's no shift you can use to defend against the home run ball unless you put a couple of your outfielders in the bullpen. Towering home run by Derek Lee, high in the air. Well, that has to be a lift for the entire ball club to see Derek Lee start hitting home runs once again. Both outfielders trying to climb the wall to no avail.
So a 2-out home run for Lee. Yeah, Derek in that Yankee series came to the plate just 2 times with a runner on base as Burnett singles to right. Jeremy went 3 for 4 yesterday. That's his 7th hit here in Game 4 of this road trip.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It is scary to think what kind of numbers Derek Lee might have if Corey Patterson had a better on-base percentage, if Nafi Perez had been a little more consistent offensively, if both of those guys had drawn a walk or 2 here and there. Derek Lee might have 70 or 80 RBIs by now.
And it brings up Aramis Ramirez, whose last swing here in this ballpark was a home run swing. Tied the game in the 9th inning. Derek Turnbow, of course, Carlos Lee would end up with a bloop single to right. And as the Brewers completed the sweep, that was back on May 5th. As a Brewers closer, watching this one tonight. Cubs would like to keep him in that bullpen all night. Bounced up there. Oka making his 3rd career start against the Cubs. He's 1-0 with a 9 ERA. This is his first start ever here at Miller Park. Just his 2nd start as a Milwaukee Brewer. And again, they acquired him from the Nationals for Junior Spivey on June 10th. You see his numbers the last time out, his first career shutout. Well, no shutout tonight. And Ramirez way out of here. 3-0. His 15th. What a smash.
Well, the Brewer outfielders didn't climb the wall on that one. Carlos Lee didn't even move. Just turned his head to see how far that ball was going to go. Well, there are times when a big power hitter will wind it up, and you can see Ramirez really wound that one up, got through the zone quickly and caught that ball way out in front of home plate. Cub fans really enjoying this first inning here.
430 feet on the home run. So his last 2 at bats here at Miller Park, tape measured blasts. Ball one on Todd Walker, the second baseman. I guess the Cubs had a brief meeting before the game. Dusty downplayed it, but just kind of say, hey, forget about what happened at Yankee Stadium. That series is over. And start of a 4-game set here tonight. And Greg Maddux is going to take the ball in the bottom of the first with a 3-0 lead. Couple of home runs. Derek Lee with his 19th. And a couple of batters later, Ramirez with his 15th, a 2-run shot, and it's 3-0 Cubs.
It's Hyundai's winning SUV sales event. Now is your best chance ever to save on our award-winning SUVs, including the new Hyundai Tucson, named Best New Small SUV by Kiplinger's and equipped with 6 standard airbags. Or the Hyundai Santa Fe, winner of Strategic Vision's Total Value Award with a standard V6. All backed by America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Hurry into Hyundai's winning SUV sales event for great deals on our award-winning SUVs at Hyundai. Get a Santa Fe with up to $1,500 cash back or 0% APR at your local Hyundai dealer.
Really worthwhile.
Animals also possess several.
Burnett's deep to center field. This ball is way back. Out of here. Jeremy Burnett with a home run.
Oh, yeah. Are you fan enough? Nobody does baseball better than Comcast Sportsnet. Catch the Cubs all season long. More games, more news, more passion.
It can change the channel from here, adjust the volume from over here, and control what your kids can and can't watch on TV, even when you're miles away. It's your remote control, and you can use it to restrict access to any channel you don't want your kids watching, and to automatically block shows based on ratings. Talk about remote control. To learn more, visit controlyourtv.org. Cable TV. Take control. It's easy.
Cubs fans, get Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown Friday and Sunday on Comcast Sportsnet.
Well, Aramis Ramirez is in the top 10 in home runs with 15, and Derek Lee is now tied for first with Andrew Jones of the Braves with 19 home runs. And it's 3-0 early on as Greg Maddux getting set for his third outing this year against Milwaukee. No record in his first 2 starts with a 5.73 ERA, but how about a 10-2 career record against Milwaukee with a 183 earned run average in 17 starts. 1 strike on Brady Clark. Sixth career outing for Maddux here at Miller Park. He's 3-1 with a 3.77. The wind and the 1-strike pitch outside. 1-1. Greg coming off his shortest start of the year. 3 2/3 against the Florida Marlins on Wednesday and snapped a personal 3-game winning streak as he took the loss. Clark hits that one hard off the glove of Ramirez. Down the line, Clark on his way to second. Going to be a play there. The throw by Hollingsworth is in time. Hollingsworth picks up his second outfield assist of the year. And he erases Clark.
That's one of the toughest plays for a left-handed throwing left fielder, to go over towards that foul line, make the play, wheel around, and make almost a blind throw back into second base. But Hollingsworth is able to put it right on the money, and the Cubs may have gotten the benefit of the doubt there on this call at second base. Todd Walker with his back to the runner. By the time he wheels around, it looked like Clark may have had his hand on the bag, but in the eyes of second base umpire Jerry Crawford, he was out. We'll take it.
So a couple of home runs and a big throw to second here early on. Now Jeff Cirillo, the third baseman. Russell Branyan is on the disabled list with a fractured left middle finger. That one's bounced foul.
One more look at second base. Crawford's a lot closer than we are. He's right on top of the play. Maybe he saw something down there at field level that we did not see up here or on the replay. Very important to keep Brady Clark off the bases. He is the straw that stirs this drink. He's having a heck of a year.
Was that in your mind? That's a Reggie Jackson thing, right?
I wanted to use it in New York, but it never really fit anywhere, so I thought we'd use it here in Milwaukee. The straw that stirs the beer.
And Cirillo shoots one into left. So a couple of singles against Greg Maddux here in the first inning. Gave up 8 hits in under 4 innings in his last start. Now let's check out the rest of Ned Yost's Brewers lineup. Lyle Overbay. Remember how hot he was the last time the Cubs were here? Right now, 283. Carlos Lee cleaning up. Bill Hall at shortstop. Ricky Weeks, the rookie, at second base. Jenkins in right. He has really struggled lately. Damian Miller, the former Cub, and Tomo Oka is a pitcher.
And for the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Rico, the usual cast of characters with the exception of Henry Blanco behind home plate. That's Hollinsworth, Patterson, Burnitz in the outfield. Ramirez, Perez, Walker, and Lee in the infield. And just to reinforce that point about Brady Clark being that straw, he's second in the National League in runs scored. Albert Pujols and Derek Lee both have scored 53 runs. Brady Clark with 51 coming into play today.
Lyle Overbay hitting .421 against the Cubs this year with a homer, 6 RBIs, 8 walks, 4 intentional walks. He had a 4-walk game against the Cubs on May 4th. They worked around him. He was probably the hottest hitter in baseball for a good week at that time. Right back to Maddux. He will wheel, get the out at second. Mayfield will not make the return throw to first. So Cirillo erased 1-6 at a fielder's choice for Overbay.
A low throw from Greg Maddux to second base. I think that really handcuffed Neifi Perez out there. It looked like he just never got the handle on the ball. Comes off the back of the bag, using the base to protect himself against that sliding runner, but because Maddux gave him such a low throw, he wasn't able to find the handle and throw on in time to get Overbay at first. He'd like that throw up around chest high, if at all possible, and leading you into the bag so you can come across and jump over that sliding runner.
1 strike on Carlos Lee. His 29th birthday today. 46 RBI since May 1st, leading the majors. And he's knocked in 30 his last 31 games against the Cubs. I mentioned Milwaukee coming off a 3-6 road trip. They did win their final 2 in Toronto, but they had a couple of team meetings on the road trip. And I think the biggest issue offensively has been that Carlos Lee has carried too much of the load, as you see his numbers on his birthday as a big leaguer. It's strange to see Jeff Jenkins batting 7th.
He's actually hit 8th during the course of the road trip that they just came off of. He has really been struggling this year.
Check down to first, and no swing, says Ed Rapuano. Bill Cuzzy back at the plate tonight. Cubs with 2 home runs in the top of this inning.
Oka gave up 3 runs in the top of the first inning. He'd only given up 3 first inning runs all year before tonight.
One-two pitch, and it's even 2-2. Brewers are happy to be home. Just coming off a stretch of 16 of 19 on the road. This is the 20th day of June. The Brewers playing just their 4th home game this month. That one hit well, but Corey Patterson will run it down on the warning track. Couple of hits in the inning, but no runs. Shutdown inning right off the bat for Maddux. And the Cubs lead after 1, 3-0.
The 6-speed, 270 horsepower Acura TL adjusts to the way each individual accelerates, brakes, and takes on the curves. Because no two drivers are alike. The Acura TL, a higher form of performance.
Oh yeah, he's got a little in him. And her. And them. Now you never quite know who it's gonna be. But they're all over. Sean from IT, your dental hygienist, your best friend's mother. And when you see them, it will become instantly clear that they've all got a little captain in them. Got a little captain in you?
Drink responsibly. Truth is, Ford 500 and Ford Freestyle both have best-in-class features. 500 and Freestyle both have a 5-star safety rating. So come in and compare. Domestic or foreign, rebates or employee plans. Get $1,000 cash back or 1-9 financing for 60 months on Ford 500 and $1,000 cash back or 0 for 60 on Ford Freestyle. The truth is, $1,000 cash back or limited term Ford credit financing won't last long. Get the whole truth only at your local Ford store.
Cub fans, Friday and Sunday, there's one place to go for Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown. Comcast Sportsnet. Glenn Casper, Bob Brentley, and special guest Ryan Sandberg call the action. Way back! Out of here! Plus, before each game, get all the pregame news, notes, and interviews with Cubs on deck. And after the game, Dan Plesac breaks down all the action on Cubs postgame live. Watch Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown. Friday and Sunday on Comcast Sportsnet. Nobody does baseball better.
Bottom three for the Cubs, Hollinsworth, Blanco, and Maddox against the right-hander Tomo Oka, who winds and fires in a strike on Hollinsworth, who's hitting .340 here in the month of June. 1 for 11 on the road trip. Cubs were outscored 23-10 at Yankee Stadium. And off to a good start tonight. Another one in there. 0-2. Sada's gotten a lion's share of the playing time out in left lately. Ground ball to Weeks. Watch live Cubs games right on your computer. Sign up for MLB.TV now exclusively at Cubs.com. MLB.TV means live baseball. All kinds of Cubs fans here in attendance tonight. Henry Blanco, the batter, and a big 2-run single on Friday as he lines out to center. He gave the Cubs a 6-4 lead at the time in Game 1. Yankees would storm back and win it. But he gets a start for Michael Barrett tonight. Well, one thing the Brewers learned about Tomo Oka right after they acquired him is he is a bit superstitious. He originally was given number 50, but he asked for number 55 instead because apparently he believes it's bad luck to have the second number be lower than the first.
Whatever. Ball players aren't superstitious at all.
Well, it's worked for Greg Maddux. 310 wins, and the second number is lower than the first. Everybody's different.
What if they just gave him a single-digit number? We saw somebody earlier this year that wore number 7 for Toronto. I can't remember who it was, but one of the pitchers on the Blue Jays staff had a single-digit uniform number. It's very odd for a pitcher.
Oka has pitched for the Red Sox, the Expos / Nationals, and now the Brewers as he strikes out Maddox and goes 1-2-3 in the second. That's his first strikeout tonight. Bottom of the second, 3-0.
Chevy's proud to be the #1 selling passenger car brand. And we also have the most dependable, longest lasting trucks on the road. We've always broken the rules. Now we're rewriting them. Introducing for the first time ever, the Chevy employee discount for everyone. You pay what we pay, not a cent more. Now get an 05 Malibu base sedan for $15,692 at participating dealers only. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
There are thousands of faces at Robert Morris College, and behind each one of them is a dream. Do you see yourself? Choose your passion, and you can graduate in 3 years or less. There are hundreds of opportunities behind our doors, one for every dream. Your dream. Accessible, affordable, attainable. Robert Morris College. Real college for the real world.
They say once a new car leaves the dealership, it starts to lose money. There's one car, however, that keeps its value far better than others. And if that's something that appeals to you, the Honda Civic is your kind of car. Now you can lease a new Civic Value Package for $159 a month for well-qualified buyers.
Cubs fans, Friday and Sunday, there's only one place to hear us call the Crosstown Series. That's right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Ryan Sandberg will join us in the booth for both games. And before and after each game, get the best pre- and post-game coverage anywhere. Don't miss a Cubs broadcast of the Crosstown Showdown Friday and Sunday. Right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Got an email from Tara in Lisbon, Iowa. She said, I understand a former Cub will be joining you for those games. Who is it? Well, it's Rhino. And we'll have a lot of fun with him at U.S. Cellular Field this weekend. Bill Hall playing shortstop. Takes a strike. He had been playing a lot of third lately. Junior Spivey, of course, traded to Washington for Tomo Oka. And one of their hot prospects, Ricky Weeks, was brought up to play second base every day. Lined and I guess trapped by Walker, so he throws to first. And a 4-3 out. And Weeks is coming up. So Bill Hall was told, you're going to play third base. Young J.J. Hardy at short, but Hall has made the last 3 starts at short.
Well, and the fact that Jeff Cirillo has started to pick it up offensively has given Ned Yost a lot of different options in the infield.
So this is a team that continues to get a bit younger every year, but Ned Yost says, I expect this team to compete. They had pretty high hopes going into the season. Here's Ricky Weeks. He has that Gary Sheffield bat waggle. I guess he started it last year in the Fall League. Was out in front too much on off-speed pitches, so that's his mechanism for getting ready to hit. And he can hit. A little raw defensively, but he's working hard at it. And he comes in tonight at 286. He was called up on June 10th.
Talking to Rich Donnelly, the third base coach for the Brewers, and he's been around the major leagues for a long time. He's seen a lot of great hitters. He said that Ricky Weeks and Prince Fielder, 2 of the best swings he has seen for young players coming up into the major leagues.
Weeks just 22 years old. 2nd overall pick in the 2003 draft, and in fact appeared in 7 games that year for the end of the year for Milwaukee.
And he must have a quick bat and hit a lot of balls hard to the left side, because Donnelly is about, 25 feet behind the third base coach's box, way over near the warning track.
Maddox walks him.
Now he comes back into the box, but when Weeks was at the plate, he got way down the line.
So Weeks is on with 1 out. Yeah, Weeks was hitting .320 with 12 home runs in 55 games at AAA when he was called up. And as we mentioned, Jeff Jenkins has been struggling. Hit a home run Saturday to snap in 0 for 29 and a base hit to left. That's the 3rd hit for Milwaukee here in the first 2 innings.
Well, they always say a hitter's working his way back when he's hitting the ball to the opposite field. You can see Jenkins, that was not an accident. Stayed right on that ball, head right down the barrel of the bat into the hitting zone and lined it into left field. Several of the outs that he made in Toronto were hard hit balls to left field as well. So Ned Yost seems to think that Jenkins is starting to figure it out a little bit.
Boy, good play by Todd Walker. That was not a good throw by Maddox. And Walker kept it on the infield.
Ball spiked into the dirt. Corey Patterson, however, was charging in as well from his center field position. Had Walker not been able to glove that ball and knock it down, Corey would have been right there to back up the play.
First and second. And it's Damian Miller. The pitch. Outside ball one. Damian's been banged up a little bit lately. Lower back problems the last few days. Also, before that, was bothered by a strained groin that kept him out of action for 7 games. The life of the catcher. High fly to right, sending Burnitz back. He is at the warning track, and he has it. Weeks tags and heads to third. There are 2 outs.
Burnitz turns and runs to where he thinks the ball is going to come down, then squares himself up, tries to get behind the ball as much as possible to hold Jenkins at first base. And he's able to do that even though Weeks did tag and advance to third. You'd like to believe that Maddox could get through the pitcher right here and prevent any damage.
Well, the Brewers not only acquired a starting pitcher, they acquired a guy who now leads their staff in hits. He has 4 hits. This is his first at bat as a Brewer. Of course, the last time he pitched was in an American League park at Tampa Bay. Strike one. I guess he didn't like the call. How about that look?
Boy, I'll tell you what, you shouldn't do that. If you're a pitcher, you shouldn't make faces at the home plate umpire when you're going to be going out there to the mound shortly trying to throw pitches in the strike zone and around the strike zone.
0-2 the count. Now, Oka had a little run-in with Frank Robinson before he was traded. He turned his back on his manager on the mound during a pitching change. The Nationals fined Oka. He said afterward it was just a miscommunication. There's a bouncer to Nafee. He will throw to Walker covering second to end the inning. The Brewers strand 2 onto the third. It's 3-0 Cubs.
It's Hyundai's winning SUV sales event. Now is your best chance ever to save on our award-winning SUVs, including the new Hyundai Tucson, named Best New Small SUV by Kiplingers and equipped with 6 standard airbags. Or the Hyundai Santa Fe, winner of Strategic Vision's Total Value Award with a standard V6. All backed by America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Hurry into Hyundai's winning SUV sales event for great deals on our award-winning SUVs at Hyundai. Get a Santa Fe with up to $1,500 cash back or 0% APR at your local Hyundai dealer.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs. Cub fans, Friday and Sunday, there's one place to go for Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown, Comcast Sportsnet. Len Casper, Bob Brentley, and special guest Ryan Sandberg call the action. Way back! Out of here! Plus, before each game, get all the pregame news, notes, and interviews with Cubs on deck. And after the game, Dan Plesac breaks down all the action on Cubs postgame live. Watch Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown, Friday and Sunday on Comcast Sportsnet. Nobody does baseball better.
Hi there, Carrie Sayers and Pat Boyle with you. Hope you can stick around after the game for Jim Beam's Sports Night.
Dee Brown finally makes his decision. We'll hear from the Illini guard on what the key factors were for him.
And Craig Krenzel's got a new team just 6 days after being waived by the Bears.
Of course, we have all your post-game festivities from the Cubs and the White Sox taking on the Royals.
And our Monday tradition plays the week. See it all after the game.
Cubs fans, get Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown Friday and Sunday on Comcast Sportsnet.
Celebrate country music at Wrigley Tuesday, June 28th at 7:05 as the Cubs take on the Brewers, courtesy of Southwest Airlines. Artist Josh Grayson, Joe Nichols will appear at the game. Country music memorabilia will be given away throughout the game, and one lucky fan will win a trip for two to Nashville from Southwest Airlines to visit the Grand Ole Opry. Country music fans here in Milwaukee.
Yeehaw.
Top of the order for the Cubs here in the third inning. Nafee 0 for his last 15 to start this road trip. And 6 for his last 52 overall. Dusty said after the game yesterday, might give Nafee a day off. Didn't want to do it tonight. Wanted him in there for defense with Greg Maddux, a sinker baller, on the mound. But he might get tomorrow off. Nafee says he doesn't feel tired. But every once in a while you like to just give a guy a day who is struggling. And he breaks that over to start this trip. Big turn at first. Lead-off single here in the third inning.
We can't give him a day off now. He's hot. He's 1 for his last 1. Look at Nafee joking with the guys on the bench. He wants the ball. Snapping out of this extended slump with a clean line drive single up the middle of the field. At least he still has his sense of humor. I mean, Nafee's been around this game long enough to know that it can't be bad forever. It's not going to be good forever. You just keep grinding as best you can.
And an anniversary. 8 years ago today, hit his first career home run as a Colorado Rocky. That's low to Corey Patterson. It's been a struggle for Corey in getting on base this year. Among qualifying center fielders in the National League, Corey 16th out of 17 in on-base percentage. And he came in at 293 and right now at 288. And the number 2 slot has been problematic for the Cubs this year as well. Guys who have hit second for the Cubs have had an on-base percentage of under 300, 14th in the National League. So that's what we're talking about, and getting guys on base in front of Derek Lee.
I find that truly amazing. You talk about protection in the batting order. You've got the best hitter in baseball hitting behind you right now. A guy hitting 390, hitting home runs, driving in runs. That number 2 spot in the Cubs lineup, I mean, guys ought to pay to hit in that spot.
Oka's going to throw to first to check down Perez, who's 4 for 5 in stolen bases this year. Cubs and Brewers came in tied for 6th in the National League with 38 stolen bases apiece. And one to Patterson, fouled back our way, and it's 1-2. A nice catch right in front of us in the Loge section. Keeping score and now has a souvenir.
Didn't even drop her pen.
Swing and a miss and a strikeout. And that's out number 1. Of course, at the old County Stadium, the Loge was actually in front of the press box on that level, and the screen was actually underneath it. So the broadcast booths were certainly in harm's way. There we are. See us, we're waving. With a great view here at Miller Park. We got a great view of Derek Lee's home run in the first inning. Now at 391. Derek with 3 career home runs now against Oka. He's looking for his 100th hit of the year. Derek with 99 hits. Last year, according to Ed Hardig, who sent us his note, Derek Lee picked up his 100th hit on July 18th. In the 90th game he had played that year. This is game 68, and it's June 20th. So he's a month ahead of last year's pace.
Wow.
Perez was going to run, and he stopped. This one deep to right. Jenkins is back on it, and he's going to make the catch. Boy, Derek just missed another one. That was stung.
Lee hit it hard, but just a little bit too much on a line. And once again, a good pitcher's pitch. That ball was at the knees on the outside corner. A pitch that a lot of hitters would ground weakly to the right side or pop weakly to center field. He drove it all the way to the wall in right field. Only a great play by Jeff Jenkins kept that from being an extra base hit.
In the dirt for ball one on Burnitz. He singled right in front of the Ramirez 2-run homer in the first inning. 7 for 13 now on this trip. And his average up to 293. Well, Nafy started the inning with a single to center. He is still at first base with 2 gone. Well, the Cubs right now 1 game over 500. They've been over 500 since May 30th. Last time they were right at 500, May 29th. They'd like to not have to worry about 500 again. And it took them a long time to get back to and over 500. As you check out the National League Central standings, and we see the Cardinals are leading again 3-0 in Cincinnati in the 6th inning. They're 20 games over 500. Two-1 to Burnitz. He goes the other way over Cirillo, left field corner. We'll see if Nafy will be able to score. Chris Spire is going to send him, and he's going to score easily. It's 4-0. Burnitz with an RBI double, and he's 2 for 2. Well, all the runs coming with 2 outs.
Boy, Burnitz, much like Jeff Jenkins, Derek Lee goes the opposite way intentionally, stayed right down on that ball. Carlos Lee overslides it out in that left field corner. And boy, watching Nafy Perez run those bases from first to home, looks like he's trying to make a statement for not having a day off. He's going to show Dusty that he's just fine. It's about as fast as we've seen Nafy run the bases this year.
Runner at second and ball 1 on Ramirez.
Good turn at second base. Good turn at third base. And scores without a play at the plate.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes a manager will just kind of throw that out there, and a guy might hear about the quote in the paper. Boy, that one hit very hard. What a play by Bill Hall. The throw is in time. He stole away a base hit and an RBI from Aramis Ramirez. That was a big-time play. The Cubs do get 1 on the 2-out double by Burnitz. It's 4-0.
With With more flights to more places than ever before, America is your backyard. Southwest Airlines, we're taking low fares farther.
You are now free to move about the country.
At Lexus, we're obsessed with making cars that handle and perform like no others. In this pursuit of perfection, we've also developed a camera which aids in negotiating the occasional obstacle to the rear. See your Chicago area Lexus dealer.
Cubs fans, come early and save big with the Cubs Early Bird Discount. During the first hour, the gates are open. Enjoy 25% off all food and non-alcoholic beverages. For hot dogs, pizza, Pepsi, and more, catch the Cubs Early Bird Discount.
Introducing a breakthrough in dial-up access that lets you search so fast you'll swear it's broadband. Net Zero High-Speed 3G, the third generation of Internet access.
Last month, Comcast Sportsnet revolutionized pregame coverage by bringing you live batting practice. Now we're doing it again. Friday, before the Cubs and Sox, take a live look at BP and hear from the players. Step inside the batter's box only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Here's a Geico Direct quote. Jim Hendry on tomorrow night's Cubs starter Jerome Williams. His velocity working its way up, pitching well, working hard in his conditioning, and is in better shape than when we got him. It just seems like the right alternative. Jerome Williams, 23 years old, will make his Cubs debut tomorrow night against Victor Santos in Game 2 of this series. So good numbers for Williams at AAA Iowa. And his last big league start, coincidentally, was against Milwaukee. It was a loss in San Francisco on April 24th. He's very excited about being back in the big leagues.
Well, we're very excited to see him pitch tomorrow night. Just a brief scouting report on Jerome Williams. We talked about it at the time of the trade. He's got probably about an average major league fastball. He can hit the 90s, the low 90s on occasion, but a tremendous straight changeup and really a lot of poise, a lot of mound presence. Really confident in his own abilities.
Fouled back by Brady Clark, and Williams throws a sinker, and boy, you love to be around a guy like Greg Maddux and certainly Carlos Zambrano and some other guys, Sergio Mitre, who throw very good two-seam fastballs. So Williams will start tomorrow night. Mark Pryor is going to throw another simulated game tomorrow afternoon. And Dusty Baker was asked at the end of his media session today, would you rule out the possibility of him maybe starting Sunday against the White Sox? He said you can't rule it out. So they're going to see how Mark feels tomorrow and then make a determination later in the week. That one past the diving Derek Lee. And Brady Clark was 2 for 2. I'll tell you what, Bob, he may be making some noise for the All-Star team. Brady Clark is over 330, and he came in 5th in the league in batting average.
The outfield is always a crowded position in the National League, but Brady Clark doing everything in his power to be included in that Midsummer's Classic. Especially scoring the runs. I mean, as a leadoff hitter, there are a lot of stats you look at, but the bottom line is if you're stepping on the plate a whole bunch, you're doing your job, and Brady Clark has done that this year for the Brewers.
Well, he's leading the league. That's his 29th multi-hit game, and he's 6 for 10 this year against Greg Maddux. Pops a strike. Jeff Cirillo.
We talk about it all the time when Greg Maddux pitches. Opponents like to run against Maddux. Perhaps the 4 runs that the Cubs have on the board already may slow the Brewers down a little bit.
Kick and the pitch. Fouled away first base side, out of play. The Cubs have yielded 6 or more runs in 8 of their last 9 games. And the team ERA has gone from 3.73 to 4.23. Hoping Greg Maddux can be the stopper here tonight. You know, you hear that term stopper, and some people refer to closers as stoppers, but really
I think the first definition of a stopper is a starting pitcher who stops a losing streak, and Greg Maddux has done that a lot in his career. Two and two. And there's big brother Mike Maddux, the pitching coach here in Milwaukee. Sure, he wouldn't mind if some of his pitchers watched intently tonight and see what the opposing pitcher's doing. You know, the thing that Mike has talked about that has impressed him the most about his younger brother Greg is that it's always been about the team. He has always deflected a lot of the attention off himself.
Unless it's something negative, and then
Correct.
He's more than willing to take the blame. We talked about it earlier this season, a couple games when the bullpen came in. He had left runners on base, and the bullpen allowed those runners to score, and he admitted it was my fault. I put him in a bad position. You just do not see that very often in the game.
Clark running, so no double play, and Ramirez will throw the first to get Cirillo for the first out.
Clark was leaning on the pitch before when Maddux threw over. He takes a peek back to Jeff Cirillo to see what the action is at home plate, where the ball was hit. Maddux actually got away with one there. A breaking ball that stayed up high in the zone, but Cirillo just rolled right over it. A little topper down to Aramis at third base.
Lyle Overbay's 0 for 1.
That's the amazing thing about this game. And anybody that says they have this game figured out, they're full of it. And Maddux probably made his worst pitch of the ball game up to this point. A hanging breaking ball, belt high, middle in, to a guy that's been red hot at the plate, and he swung right over and hit a little topper to third base.
High, deep drive, right center field. This one could go, and it will. Well, Overbay's done a lot of damage against the Cubs this year. And he hits a 2-run homer. Now has 8 RBIs against the Cubs here in 2005. Thirteenth home run allowed by Maddux.
Pitch up and over the plate again, allowing Overbay to get full extension and reach out there and hook it back to right center field. Oh, Overbay has really changed considerably as an offensive player over the past couple seasons here in Milwaukee. He really wasn't considered much of a power hitter when I had him in Arizona. That only had 4 home runs in 254 at bats back in 2003. He was basically considered a line drive hitter, a gap-to-gap hitter. We knew he hit a lot of doubles, but started to turn on the ball a little bit more here in Milwaukee.
426 feet on a home run. Mentioned Ramirez, his home run earlier was 430 feet. Fouled back by Carlos Lee.
Oh, there's no question. This is a bandbox. This ballpark looks small, it plays small.
The Brewers have done well here. They're 5 over 500. Splintered bat. That ball has a lot of English on it. Still hasn't stopped, and Lee will pick it up. You know, the big difference between County Stadium is the gaps were very deep, and really just the opposite here at Miller Park.
It's very shallow in the gaps. It is 400 feet to straightaway center field, but from both foul poles, almost around just to the right and left of straightaway center field, it's very reachable for every hitter in the lineup. The All-Star game here in 2002, the home run derby was a joke. Guys were hitting balls off a Bernie Brewer up there at the top of the sliding board. They were knocking down the scoreboard. I mean, there were balls flying out of here like Titleist, like golf balls.
So Lee gets a new piece of lumber. And ready for a 1-2 pitch from Maddox. Here it is. Just off the corner.
No question, the pitch that Greg Maddux would like to have had right there, that backdoor sinker. Henry Blanco does a nice job of holding it right there on the corner, but appeared to come around the plate just a little.
Line to deep right, but Burnitz is there to make the catch. So 2 outs in the inning. Now Bill Hall, who made a very nice play to retire Ramirez to end the top of this inning. The Cubs are down in this season series. They've lost 4 of their first 6 against Milwaukee. The Cubs are 14-12 against their own division. The all-time series, going back to '97, is very tight. Cubs have won 57 and have lost 56. Hard on the ground. Napie dropped it, picks it up in time and throws across to get Hall. Lyle Overbay with his 9th home run this year, 2nd against the Cubs, and it cuts the Cubs lead to 2. It's 4-2.
Listen up. This is Darren. He's the newest member of the league.
Whoa, hold up. What can he do?
Can he fly?
No, cannot.
He's got superhuman strength, though, right? Come on, man. You got to be able to do something. Levitate, go through walls, stop.
I can do one thing.
Well, let's see it.
Dang!
You can room with me.
Hey.
Truth is, Ford has the best-selling SUVs in America. Ford Explorer is the most trusted SUV. So dare to compare. Domestic or foreign, rebates or employee plans. Like $4,500 cash back on Explorer. That's $3,000 more than Toyota 4Runner. Get $4,500 cash back on Expedition. That's $1,500 more than Chevy Tahoe. Dare to compare and see why Ford is the best-selling brand of vehicles in America. Compare now at your local Ford store.
Give your engine what it wants. Pennzoil with time-release molecules delivers non-stop protection throughout the life of your oil. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Get a $15 MasterCard gift card when you buy a case of Pennzoil Platinum Motor Oil at Pep Boys.
Cubs fans, Friday, get Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown with Len, Bob, and Ryan Sandberg on the call as Derek Lee leads the Cubs against Paul Konerko and the White Sox, followed by Cubs postgame live. Cubs Sox coverage starts Friday at 1. Get your game on Comcast Sportsnet.
Well, let's check out tonight's Aflac trivia question. Who was the MVP of the 1993 College World Series? Get you the answer in the bottom of this inning. Cubs lead 4-2. Lyle Overbay with a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning. Let's see, Todd Walker was pretty good in college. 5 hits for each team. It's been a home run night thus far, and 3 home runs have been hit. After Walker, it'll be another left-handed hitter, Todd Hollinsworth, and then Henry Blanco. Fly to medium left. Carlos Lee barely moved and made the catch for out number 1.
You've been watching any of the College World Series?
A little bit here and there. I know there was a game on in the clubhouse earlier today.
There was Baylor and Oregon State. He actually went into extra innings. I don't know how it ended up. Some exciting ball games.
Jeff Cirillo about even with the bag, actually a little bit closer at third against Hollinsworth. Give him a lot of gap out in right center. Brady Clark shaded toward left center. Opposite foul. This one will get back out of play. Boy, beautiful night. Great day here in Milwaukee. Game time temperature was 85. Roof is open. Panels are open. And one thing that we've noticed here this year is the ivy, which they have started to grow here at Miller Park beyond the center field fence, is starting to really take shape. So maybe borrowing from the Wrigley handbook. Of course, that is not in play. That is beyond the center field fence.
Just in case you're wondering, we're told Baylor beat Oregon State 4-3 in 10 innings today in that College World Series game. And it's appropriate they have the ivy on the wall out there in center field, given the fact that there's probably as many Cub fans here today as there are Brewer fans. Makes them feel right at home. And they sell beer here, too.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Brats and suds.
Oh.
Get lots of them here in Milwaukee.
Balanced diet.
Oka fires and it's low. One of the things you notice about Tomo Oka's numbers this year, he has walked more than he has struck out. 27 walks, and even with 2 strikeouts tonight, just 25 strikeouts.
In a lot of ways, he's similar to Greg Maddux in that he pitches to contact rather than away from contact. The idea is with that cut fastball, with the splitter, with the two-seam sinking fastball, he wants the batter to put the ball in play weakly.
Three, 2 hammered past the Sarge.
Sarge had a pretty good run lately. He hasn't had to move around too much down there at first base. That kind of runs in cycles too.
Another 3-2. This one fouled back on the ground. Cubs in the middle of a 10-game trip that'll end in Chicago against the White Sox this weekend. 8 pitches already here in this at bat. Here's number 9.
I always thought these kind of at bats favored the hitter. The more pitches you can see, the better idea you get of the release point of the opposing pitcher. You see just about everything he's got to offer during the course of a 9 or 10 or 11 pitch at bat. Let's see if Holly can cash it in here.
I think Cubs fans are being treated a little bit better than maybe a lot of them were at Yankee Stadium.
Forget about it.
Yeah, we had some hecklers actually right outside the press box.
This guy's waited for us every day.
I know, it's New York. High in the air, right center. Jenkins coming over to make the play. You haven't been to New York, though. It's like you haven't really been there unless somebody yells at you.
Well, it usually doesn't take very long. That's a good thing about it.
Yeah, there was a noticeable difference between the Red Sox-Cubs series at Wrigley and I guess the synergy between the Sox and Cubs fans and the way things were this weekend at Yankee Stadium.
It didn't matter, who the opponent is. I mean, here are the Chicago Cubs, first time in Yankee Stadium since 1938. You would think the novelty of it alone would call for a little graciousness and hospitality on the part of the Yankee fans, but that was not the case.
Yeah, you're right. They don't care who you are. If you're not a Yankee fan,
you're the enemy.
You're the enemy. They're extremely passionate. Dalton is shallow right. Caught by Jenkins. That's a 1-2-3 4th inning. As the Cubs go down in order, they lead this one tonight. Game 1 of this series, 4-2.
Hey. Whew. Yeah. You look relaxed for somebody in your condition.
It's because I have Aflac.
What do you mean?
Well, when I'm hurt and miss work, Aflac gives me cash to help pay bills my health insurance doesn't.
You mean like car payments?
Mm-hmm.
Electric bills?
Mm-hmm.
Or the rent?
Yep. Huh. Even food. Chinese is here.
Great. I love duck.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Come on, Joe, what's cooking in the kitchen? Yeah.
Sirloin steak and shrimp. Juicy top sirloin steak served with your choice of shrimp for only $11.99. Choose from scampi seared, coconut crusted, teriyaki grilled, or golden fried. Only Joe's does steak and shrimp for $11.99. It's steak and shrimp crazy at Joe's Crab Shack. Hurry, create your own steak and shrimp combo for only $11.99.
Gotta go eat at Joe's.
We designed it to move, and it became the most powerful car in its class. We designed it to do most everything, and it became the best-selling car in its class. We designed it for the driver, and in its first year, it won Strategic Vision's Total Quality Award. And now they've been designed for everyone. Introducing GM employee pricing on every 2005 Pontiac.
During the Pontiac Employee Discount for Everyone event, buy a 2005 Grand Prix starting at $19,143. You pay what we pay, not a cent more.
Let's get the answer to our Aflac trivia question. The question is, who is the MVP of the 1993 College World Series?
I like your hint.
Todd Walker. He was a two-time All-American at LSU, was the Baseball America Freshman of the Year in '92. Here are his numbers from the College World Series 12 years ago, and he played with Armando Rios, Mike Sorotka, Russ Johnson at LSU. Russ Johnson is now with the Yankees. And special thanks to Mark Stencil for coming up with that great historical nugget. Outside ball one on Ricky Weeks, who walked in his first career plate appearance against Greg Maddux back in the second inning. Off Maddux. Walker will barehand. The throw is in time. It'll go 1-4-3.
Well, the only question is Maddux okay out there on the mound? We see him do this all the time on balls that he can't feel cleanly. Watch him stick his leg out there. Hits off the outside of his left ankle, ricochets right to Todd Walker, who makes a beautiful backhanded play. Very close at first. Really the only play Todd Walker has, the way Ricky Weeks runs, you got to barehand that ball. It's do or die. Look at Weeks getting across that bag, leaning forward like a sprinter at the finish line.
They have a pretty slow radar gun here at Miller Park. Now, Greg Maddux does not throw hard, but they've seen some fastballs clocked at 81 to 83. Bounce foul. And happy birthday to Dave Nelson. Mentioned Carlos Lee is 29. We'll just say Dave Nelson is not. But happy birthday to Davey Nelson.
He's celebrating the anniversary of his 29th birthday.
Swing and a miss. That one at 85. Jeff Jenkins at one point went almost 2 weeks between hits. Spent some time on the bench, as Bob mentioned. Hit 8th at one point.
Jenkins has always kind of been an all or nothing guy, a vicious uppercut pull swing. It got to the extent that he was really wasting his best shots into foul territory. Did a nice job of staying on the ball back in the second inning, lining a base hit into left field. But you know, in the back of his head, he just wants to jerk something up there in that third deck in right field.
3-2. Pulled foul. Jenkins coming in, career .355 hitter against Greg Maddux. And he's 1 for 1 tonight. Another payoff pitch. And the other way foul. We'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on Mediacom in Gibson City, Illinois. Cubs scored 3 times in the first inning, a couple of home runs. Derek Lee and Aramis Ramirez got another in the third. And an RBI double by Jeremy Burnitz. Overbay for the Brewers with a 2-run shot in the bottom of the third, and we're now in the fourth. It's 4-2. Easy play for Derek. Well, Kerry Wood through 4 innings for AAA Iowa last night in Nashville. Gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, walked 3, struck out 6, hit a batter, threw 43 strikes among his 69 pitches. He said he was a little disappointed in the location of his fastball, but his other pitches felt good. He felt good. I guess he hit 96 6 times last night, so the velocity's certainly there, and he'll make one more rehab start on Friday, and then hopefully he'll be ready to come back, and he may face this Milwaukee club a week from Wednesday.
He mixed in some more breaking balls this time. They said he threw 12 to 15 sliders and 3 curveballs, but certainly the velocity was there with his fastball. And the command of that pitch is probably going to be the last thing to come around, just like spring training. It's not unusual for guys to come into camp and be throwing the ball extremely hard, but not really knowing exactly where it's going to go. And as camp progresses, they fine-tune that control, start hitting the corners with more regularity, and then they're ready to go to the regular season. And that's about the point Woody's at right now.
Swing and a miss, and a strikeout for Maddux. That's his first of the night. 4 in the books from Milwaukee. It's 4-2 Cubs.
Moving Forward is the #1 selling car in America. Moving Forward is an SUV with the lowest fuel cost in its class. And Moving Forward is a great value on any of Toyota's award winners at the Toyota Sales Drive. Visit your Toyota dealer now for $700 cash back on Camry, $750 cash back on Sienna, or $800 cash back on Highlander. Hurry for great selection, outstanding values, and award-winning quality at the Toyota Sales Drive. Now that's Moving Forward. Toyota.
Cub fans, Friday and Sunday, there's one place to go for Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown. Comcast Sportsnet. Len Casper, Bob Brentley, and special guest Ryan Sandberg call the action.
Way back! Out of here!
Plus, before each game, get all the pregame news, notes, and interviews with Cubs on deck. And after the game, Dan Plesac breaks down all the action on Cubs Postgame Live. Watch Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown. Friday and Sunday on Comcast Sportsnet. Nobody does baseball better.
Hi there, Carrie Sayers and Pat Boyle with you. Hope you can stick around after the game for Jim Beam Sports Night.
Dee Brown finally makes his decision. We'll hear from the Illini guard on what the key factors were for him.
And Craig Krenzel's got a new team just 6 days after being waived by the Bears.
Of course, we have all your post-game festivities from the Cubs and the White Sox taking on the Royals.
And our Monday tradition plays the week. See it all after the game.
Cubs fans, get Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown Friday and Sunday on Comcast Sportsnet.
Hey, Cub fans, Friday and Sunday, there's only one place to hear us call the Crosstown Series, and that's right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Ryan Sandberg will join us in the booth for both games, and before and after each game, get the best pre- and post-game coverage anywhere. Don't miss the Cubs broadcast of the Crosstown Showdown Friday and Sunday right here on Comcast Sportsnet. White Sox 5-1 as they lead Kansas City in the 4th inning. Frank Thomas with a home run tonight. White Sox starting the night 7.5 up on the Twins in the American League Central. 9-1-2 for the Cubs here in the 5th. Maddox, Perez, and Patterson against the right-hander Tomo Oka. Oka originally had his contract purchased by the Red Sox from the Yokohama Bay Stars of Japan's Central League back in 1998. Two and one on Maddox. Here's the next pitch. That's in there for a strike. Well, the Brewers team ERA coming in 3.82. That's good for 3rd in the National League. Pop foul and out of play. Their biggest problem has been offense. Brewers are 13th in the league in runs. The funniest guys in baseball, Rich Donnelly, the Brewers third base coach, watching this one right now from the dugout with his team on defense. Always has a great line, doesn't he?
He always does. And he never lets me forget for a moment. At one point, he was a high school basketball coach back in the state of Ohio and went to my hometown. He's from Hopedale, Ohio. Went to my hometown of Coshocton, Ohio, and got ejected from the gym.
Weeks will throw out Maddox.
I told him, you must have done something really bad, because people in Coshocton are very hospitable, very welcoming to outsiders, so you must have really misbehaved.
Well, Mayfie's going to take a lot of time here after Maddox made that first out.
Who was it? Russell Branyan hit the ball off the flag here at Miller Park, and he said it knocked some of the stars off.
Yeah, that's right. Russell Branyan again on the disabled list. He fractured his left middle finger, as you see it wrapped, on a bunt attempt. Not something he normally does. Put him on the DL.
Well, Branyan's one of those guys, when he's healthy and playing, that teams usually put that drastic shift on. And was probably trying to take advantage and dump a ball down the third base line, get a cheap base hit, and didn't quite work out that way.
Popped up left side. Going into the outfield grass is Bill Hall to make the catch. Mentioned the rough day Nathie had yesterday. He went 0 for 5 at the plate, made an error, and he said, I have no excuse. Got to make that play. Cubs defensively coming into tonight, 5 errors their last 4 games. Prior to that, they had a 6-game errorless streak. We talked about Sergio Mitre. He had to get 5 outs in 1 inning. That was the 5th inning. He struck out Giambi, but Giambi reached on a wild pitch, and then there was an error. I mean, it really was a bad call on the first base umpire, Mike Riley. Sergio gave up 6 runs, 5 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings, but a couple of ground balls, which he wanted, Able to squeak through the infield for hits.
I learned back in my playing days from catching Rick Russell, former Cub, had some great years with the San Francisco Giants as well, that sometimes a sinker ball pitcher can have great stuff. You get the desired result, which is a ground ball, but unfortunately it finds holes in the infield, and there's really nothing you can do to control that.
C.B. Buckner said Corey went around, so instead of 2-0, it's 1-1.
Now, barrel of the bat got out there in front of the plate.
Right field, Jenkins stumbled coming in, and it costs him as Corey picks up the single. I don't know if he slipped. He just got off to a late start, and that ball dropped in front of him.
Well, that can happen to an outfielder when you have a hitter with power and he takes a big swing like Corey did, but he got jammed a little bit. He didn't hit that ball off the good part of the bat, and Jenkins just froze in his tracks when he saw the trajectory of that fly ball, but it just didn't carry as well as he thought it was going to. By the time he realized that, it was too late to come in and make a play.
So now Derek Lee, again, he came in 4 for 21 this year against Milwaukee. Hit a long home run in the first and lined it deep right in his second at bat. Patterson with a decent lead at first. And there he goes. Pitch is low. The throw is pretty good, but Patterson gets in with his 10th steal. Now, the pitch did not help Damian Miller at all. And Corey got a good jump and was able to get in with his 10th steal.
Great jump by Corey over there at first base, and you're absolutely right, Len. Tough pitch for Damian Miller to handle. And not even a close play there at second base. The only question was, as Corey changed feet right there, was the tag on him?
And now they're going to intentionally walk Lee with first base open.
Well, just listening to the Brewers coaching staff talking about Derek Lee around the batting cage, you got the feeling that every opportunity they had to take the bat out of Derek's hands, they were going to do it in this series. It didn't matter whether Aramis Ramirez, Jeremy Burnitz, or Babe Ruth was hitting behind Derek Lee. They were not going to let Derek be the guy to beat him.
And the great news for the Cubs is that Jeremy Burnitz is red hot. He's 5 for his last 6. So you say to yourself, all right, pitch around Derek Lee. This guy's hitting .296. He's 2 for 2 tonight.
But you want to make it hurt immediately after the intentional walk. That really sends a message.
Well, this is when the light really has come on for the Cubs offense tonight with 2 outs. Scored 3 with 2 outs in the first inning. And Burnitz with the RBI double in the third inning, also with 2 outs. Not going to happen this time as Overbay will beat Burnitz to first. Cubs get a couple of late base runners in the inning on a single and an intentional walk, but no runs. Middle of the 5th, 4-2.
Tonight at Red Roof Inn, Bill stays in a Business King room.
Look at his space.
And feels like a Business King himself.
Multitasking. Chances of me working are remote.
Don't miss the redesigned, rededicated Red Roof Inn and Accor Hotel. Tonight at Red Roof Inn,
nice.
Steve stays in a renovated room.
Don't got much hair, but you got everything else.
And mixes business with pleasure.
Yes, sir. I'm working on those statistics right now.
Don't miss the redesigned, rededicated Red Roof Inn and Accor Hotel.
Shining is giving someone a voice. With Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, you'll have the tools and flexibility to make the smartest decisions for you and your family. Because we believe your health care should stay right where it belongs, in your hands. Lean on me. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, shining through.
We designed it to move, and it became the most powerful car in its class. We designed it to do most everything, and it became the best-selling car in its class. We designed it for the driver, and in its first year, it won Strategic Vision's Total Quality Award. And now they've been designed for everyone. Introducing GM employee pricing on every 2005 Pontiac.
During the Pontiac Employee Discount for Everyone event, buy a first ever G6 starting at $18,497. You pay what we pay, not a cent more.
Time now for the Pontiac Sports Night Update.
Hi, everyone. Pat Boyle in our downtown Chicago studios. We'll send it back to Milwaukee in just a second. D. Brown made it official today. He's going to return to Illinois for his senior season. His NBA dreams, at least for this year, were put on hold after he broke his foot at the pre-draft camp. We'll hear from D. and his coach, Bruce Weber, after the game on Sports Night. Now, back to Len and Bob in Milwaukee, guys.
All right, Pat, thank you. Strike one, Maddox to Oka. The Cubs lead 4-2. Good to see the offense get things going early, but I think most importantly, good to see Greg Maddux keep the Brewers down tonight.
Yeah, he's kept the ball down in the strike zone tonight. His last start against the Marlins, first of all, the Marlins are a very aggressive swinging team, and they're going to attack anything they see up in the zone. And unfortunately for Greg, that day he was getting a lot of pitches up, but so far today he's been able to keep the ball down. He's changed speeds, doing all those things that we're used to seeing Greg Maddux do.
And the Cubs try to snap a 4-game losing streak here tonight and get their first win on this road trip. This is game 4 of the 10-game trip. Oka with one career extra base hit, a double. And flails at strike 3, and Blanco will complete it by throwing to lead. So Oka whiffs. And back to the top, and Brady Clark, who's 2 for 2. Thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double to lead off the first inning. Singled and scored on the Overbay 2-run homer in the third. You know, not only as we talked about the pregame or in the open about the trade the Brewers made with the White Sox in acquiring Carlos Lee. Scott Podsednik off to a good start this year for the White Sox. Talked about Carlos Lee. The other thing is Brady Clark's the guy who replaced Podsednik in center. So the Brewers are quite happy with the way that trade worked out. You love to get something in return, but you also have to replace the guy you traded.
Well, not as many stolen bases as the Brewers would have gotten from Scott Podsednik, but a little more power, probably a better average, and the same kind of high energy player at the top of the order. As we said earlier, when he gets on base, things seem to happen for the Brewers.
Maddox with a 2-1. 3-1. Outside corner. Buzzed the corner with a fastball to make it 3-2. Cirillo is next. And Podsednik with 35 stolen bases for the White Sox. On base percentage .360. There's the walk. Second one issued by Maddox. Well, I asked Dusty Baker today about, we were talking about superstitions earlier, about his wristbands. And he says it's not a superstition, it's become a trademark. He says he's been wearing wristbands since he was 18 years old, so the minor leagues, as a player in the major leagues, and he just says it's about comfort. I said, yeah, is it superstition or comfort? He said, no, it's what I'm used to doing. He says, I'll put the wristbands on when I get to the park before I'll put my uniform on. And the only time he doesn't wear them is when he has to wear long sleeves if it's a cold afternoon or evening. So it's just something he's done his entire baseball career. He said, my arms were so skinny when I was younger that I would wear them a little bit up on the forearm. That's true. Clark running. Here's the throw. And they got him. Clark's been caught a league high 9 times, and he can't believe the call. But Blanco nails him. Henry 6 for 8 in nailing base stealers.
Well, with the naked eye, once again, it looked like the Cubs may have gotten a break on the call at second base here. Kind of a high throw, and the tag comes down. Well, the only question is maybe Todd Walker had that bag blocked. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Well, we'll take it again.
So a fortuitous pitch out by the Cubs.
See, a lot of middle infielders will drop that left knee down in front of the bag and block that base stealer, especially when you know a guy is going to come in head first. There is no danger of being spiked or being injured out there at second base. You can drop that left knee down in front of the bag and effectively block the base like a catcher blocks home plate. Yeah, you're talking about Dusty's wristbands. I think back Bobby Cox to this day wears metal cleats in the dugout.
That's right.
Jim Leland always wore metal cleats, just like the players.
Straight up in the air. And Henry will make the catch to retire the side. Cubs lead in Milwaukee. It's 4-2 after 5.
Guide to fun. The Chicago Tribune. What's in it for you?
See Wrigley Field like you've never seen it before. Take an official Wrigley Field tour. Visit the Cubs clubhouse, the dugout, the playing field, and more. It's a Cubs fan's dream come true. Call 773-404-CUBS today for ticket information and tour dates.
Introducing a breakthrough in dial-up access that lets you surf so fast you'll swear it's broadband. Net Zero High-Speed 3G, the third generation of internet access.
Polite society tells us that it's rude to stare. But then along came the 2005 V6 Nissan Altima. With a redesigned interior, a state-of-the-art navigation system and satellite radio, and a sleek, refined exterior. So go ahead, stare. Frankly, it'd be rude not to.
Cubs fans, Friday, get Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown with Len, Bob, and Ryan Sandberg on the call as Derek Lee leads the Cubs against Paul Konerko and the White Sox, followed by Cubs postgame live. Cubs Sox coverage starts Friday at 1. Get your game on Comcast Sportsnet.
On Wednesday, June 29th, the first 20,000 fans will receive a scratch and win card, and 100 random winners will take home a majestic 2005 Carlos Zambrano alternate road jersey courtesy of MBNA. Fans are encouraged to hold on to their cards for second chance drawings throughout the game. And for complete rules, visit Cubs.com. In this half inning of Cubs baseball, brought to you by Robert Morris College. Real college for the real world. Ramos Ramirez has hit in 7 straight. Extended the hitting streak with a booming 2-run homer in the first inning.
Well, and I mentioned it on an earlier telecast that the 6th inning has been very good to the Cubs this year. They've outscored their opponent by 29 runs in the 6th inning this year. By far their most productive inning. So from now on, I'm going to mention it every time they hit in the 6th inning.
All right.
Scored 65 runs to their opponent's 36.
Well, that's the other thing Dusty said. I said, do you have any superstitions about your wristband? He said, well, if I'm wearing a particular color and we're winning, I'll stick with the same color scheme. You can always find some little superstition when it comes to anyone connected with this game. Big swing and a miss. And a strikeout.
Just to give you an indication of how many runs in one inning 65 is, the next biggest offensive inning for the Cubs is the 4th inning when they've scored 44 runs. So an unusually high number of runs in one inning for the Cubs in the 6th this year.
Now the Cubs lineup from Todd Walker on down has been very quiet tonight. Walker through Maddox, a combined 0 for 8. First 2 times through the order. I'm sure Cubs bench coach Dick Pole chimed in on Tomo Oka. Dick Pole was Oka's pitching coach in Montreal in 2002. And of course, you know, major league hitters use every resource available. You talk about scouting reports, video, and a lot of it's just anecdotal from managers, coaches, guys who've hit against particular pitchers.
Even friends on other teams that have faced a particular pitcher.
Todd Walker to deep right, sending Jenkins back. This one over his head. One hops the fence. Walker on his way to second. Jenkins with a good arm, but the throw is late. 9-game hitting streak for Todd Walker in his 8th double. And he's in scoring position with 1 out.
So Todd Walker put on a display in batting practice today. Normally not a guy that goes up to the plate in batting practice and tries to hit home runs, but he had several in a row to the right field seats. This one just short hops the fence out there and straight away right. And you're right, Jenkins has a real good throwing arm. So Todd had to get on his horse there between first and second.
RBI chance for Todd Hollingsworth. Oka's pitch fouled back. Cubs now with 7 hits. And the Cubs are back under 500 on the road after winning 8 of 9 away from Wrigley. They've dropped 3 straight to start this road trip. 15-16 on the road. Fly to left. No problem for Lee.
Talk about that road record. Standing around the batting cage today talking to Ned Yost, and he was quizzing everybody within hearing distance. How many teams in the National League are at 500 or better on the road this year? And there were several different guesses, but the answer is 1. The St. Louis Cardinals are the only team over 500 on the road this year.
And the Cubs were until a couple of days ago.
The Cardinals are 23-12 on the road coming into play.
And they have a late lead again on the road tonight. 6-0 in Cincinnati in the 9th.
The Cubs at 15-16. San Diego 17-19. Arizona 17-19, and everybody else is considerably worse than that on the road.
And Oka will fake to second.
Of course, 500 has always been considered to be a good record on the road. If you can play even on the road and try to win 2 out of 3 at home, it figures to be a pretty solid season. A season that more than likely will put you in the postseason.
So the Cubs right now 2 over at home. We mentioned 1 under on the road. Milwaukee 11 games under 500 on the road, but they're 5 over here at Miller Park. 1-1 pitch is down to Blanco, 2-1. Happy 90th birthday to Lillian Gura. Also, a happy belated 91st birthday to big-time Cubs fan Bob Knoll. 2-1, flared, and it'll be caught. Ricky Weeks got a good jump on it, makes a catch, inning over. Cubs have stranded 4 tonight. 4-2 they lead.
Chevy's proud to be the #1 selling passenger car brand. We have 9 cars with at least 30 highway miles per gallon. We've always broken the rules. Now we're rewriting them. Introducing for the first time ever, the Chevy Employee Discount. For everyone, you pay what we pay, not a cent more. Now get an 05 Cobalt-based Cooper sedan for $12,470 at participating dealers only. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers today.
Last month, Comcast Sportsnet revolutionized pregame coverage by bringing you live batting practice. Now we're doing it again. Friday before the Cubs and Sox take a live look at BP and hear from the players. Step inside the batter's box only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Remember when there were only a few TV channels and parents could easily keep track of what their kids watched? There's much more choice today. There are hundreds of cable programs, and making the right choices isn't always easy. One great choice is for families to communicate and decide together on what to watch. Help is available in the form of parental controls through your cable company and the V-Chip. For more information on how to choose the programming for your home, contact your cable company or visit the controlyourtv.org website.
Really worthwhile.
Animals also possess several.
Burnett's deep to center field. This ball is way back. Out of here. Jeremy Burnett with a home run.
Oh, yeah.
Are you fan enough? Nobody does baseball better than Comcast Sportsnet. Catch the Cubs all season long. More games, more news, more passion.
Cubs fans, get Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown Friday and Sunday on Comcast Sportsnet.
After the game, stick around for Cubs Postgame Live presented by Joe's Crab Shack. Get highlights of all the action and analysis from the quirky left-hander Dan Plesac. Don't miss Cubs Postgame Live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Although I guess quirky and left-hander, I mean, right? That's kind of piling on.
Yeah, I don't know if I call Dan quirky. He just has a different point of view on things, and I think that's very refreshing.
Yes. Left-handed hitter Lyle Overbay. Do I get a call here? Quirky? What are you calling me quirky for? Dan does a great job.
You know, I almost had something to hold over Dan's head forever. As a member of the Toronto Blue Jays, I had very few highlights in the early part of the '89 season, but one of them, I came within maybe a couple of feet of having the first home run in Skydome. Dan Plesac was pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers at the time, and it was one of my rare starts for the Blue Jays, and I hit a deep fly ball to left center field. It might be, it could be, it isn't. Caught at the warning track. Thought I was going to get the first home run and go down in the record books, but it wasn't to be.
Well, he would say he made the right pitch.
Well, he did. He got me out.
Greg Maddux over 80 pitches now. And the 3-1 to Overbay. And there's a rainbow to left. Hollingsworth over in the corner. 1 out. And it'll bring up Carlos Lee. Getting ready for the sausage race after the 6th inning.
Shouldn't they be in boiling water or something, or rolling around on a grill?
Lee nothing for 2 on his 29th birthday. They're tall.
We all know how important it is that you stretch before you race.
Another fly ball. Walker out, Burnett's in, and the right fielder has first dibs on a play like that. Maddox ready to work to Bill Hall with 2 outs in the inning. Last hit for Milwaukee was the 2-run homer by Overbay in the 3rd. With a win tonight, Greg Maddux would tie Tom Seaver with 311 wins. That one kicks off the mound and into center. Sixth hit for Milwaukee. And Tom Seaver 17th on the all-time wins list. Right now, Maddux tied with Charlie Radburn for 18th with 310 career victories. Pitch to Ricky Weeks, line in the left field corner. Bill Hall around third, a relay from Neifi Perez to the plate, and the ball got away from him. Weeks is going to end up at third, and it's now a 4-3 game. I don't know if the relay was in time. That home plate umpire Phil Cuzzy waited. And, of course, the ball got away from Blanco, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, an umpire will always wait to make sure that the defensive player hangs on to the ball before making any kind of a call. Good, quick get right here by Todd Hollingsworth in left field. Bare hands it, a quick throw back into Neifi Perez. Neifi had to crow hop a couple times before his throw to the plate, and it's just a little bit high. And it certainly appears that Hall was going to be in there. Even had Henry hung on to the ball. The tag was late and on the backside after Hall crossed the plate.
So it'll be an RBI double for Ricky Weeks and an error on Blanco, allowing Weeks to move to third. They're going to walk Jenkins and face Damian Miller instead. So it's now a 1-run game. Cubs at one point led 4-0 as Mike Remlinger gets loose. So the Cubs now is 6 errors their last 5 games. There's ball 4.
Well, Larry Rothschild's going to make a trip to the mound here just to make sure they know exactly how they want to go after Damian Miller. Also, to talk about the possibility of a double steal here. Should Jenkins break for second base? Where is Henry Blanco going to throw the ball? Where are they going to try to get the out? You know, with Jenkins hitting only .231 on the season, Damian Miller at .276, this may make you scratch your head a little bit. Why would you do this? But Dusty Baker had Damian Miller in 2003 with the Cubs. And Damian Miller, as you mentioned earlier, he's got a cranky lower back right now. And that's a condition that Damian has had off and on throughout his career. He had it in Arizona in his days catching for me with the Diamondbacks. When his lower back is bad, he does not swing the bat well at all. So Dusty banking on the fact that Miller is not at 100% strength right now. Going to put it on Greg Maddux to go after the guy that's not at 100%.
Miller had a walk-off walk in the 9th against the Cubs in that series here at Miller Park in early May. And in a big spot here, first and third, 2 outs in the 6th, with the Cubs leading 4-3, ball 1 low.
As you can imagine, when your lower back is tight and stiff, it really limits what you can do. I mean, everything about hitting is rotational movements from the core. And if your lower back does not allow you to pivot into the ball the way you need to be successful, it's going to make it a tough at bat.
Bounce foul. 1-1.
You can see him trying to stretch that lower back a little bit. Talked to him a little bit before the game, and he's definitely bothered by it. He says it's better now than it was, but still not at 100%.
Weeks is a tying run at third. Jeff Jenkins, the runner at first.
And Maddux wanted that pitch there too, a changeup, backdoor changeup. Had Miller out in front. He couldn't pull the trigger on it. He was just hoping that Phil Cuzzi would call that pitch off the plate away, and he did.
Fouled off, and it's 2-2.
This could perhaps be the count. You could see Jenkins on the move over there at first base. Hasn't attempted a stolen base yet this year, but it may be an opportunity for the Brewers to try to steal a run. And with that in mind, Greg Maddux with the fake to third, look to first. We're watching the reaction of Ricky Weeks over there at third base. Dennis Martinez, El Presidente, used to do that move where you fake to third, you turn around, fake to first, and fire right back to third base again. Weeks saw the fake to third base and continued to come further down the third base line.
And Jenkins will be running on a 3-2 pitch coming up. Derek Lee telling Greg Maddux he's going to play behind the runner. That last pitch was close. Miller just maneuvering again in that batter's box. Not quite comfortable with that back. Bouncer to Ramirez. He'll backhand. A lot of time. Inning over. Maddux gives up one, but that's it. We move to inning number 7. Pitcher spot coming up, 4-3 Cubs.
Free to move about the country.
Konnichiwa, Bakari-san, Hora-san. Yoshikazu Pro. Omoya, sore usa tsudeyo.
21, winner.
21.
That's right.
Adaptive headlights designed to turn with the road ahead. Exclusive rear active steer designed for more precise handling. The luxury sedan designed to outperform. Introducing the all-new M from Infinity. Visit your Chicago area Infinity dealer.
Cubs fans, Friday, get Cubs coverage of the Crosstown Showdown with Len, Bob, and Ryan Sandberg on the call as Derek Lee leads the Cubs against Paul Konerko and the White Sox, followed by Cubs postgame live. Cubs Sox coverage starts Friday at 1. Get your game on Comcast Sportsnet.
Set, go! It's the sausage race here at Miller Park. Now, we all made our projections. I said the hot dog was going to win, and they had the lead from the start.
Italian is number 3. He's moving up.
Did you pick the Brat?
Looks like he's out of it already.
I think there ought to be an investigation. You spent a lot of time here in Milwaukee, you know. You may have had some inside information.
So the hot dog easily winning the sausage race tonight.
Number 4, hot dog.
Very uneventful. Usually there's some intrigue to the race, even when Randall Simon's not in the ballpark.
Yeah. Greg Maddux done after 6 innings. He'll exit with a 4-3 lead. And Jose Macias will be the pinch hitter here in the 9th spot. Tomo Oka still in there here in the 7th. And a pitch to Macias, a swing and a miss. Jose certainly very familiar with Brewers left fielder Carlos Lee. They're both from Panama. As Michael Wirtz gets ready. Mariano Rivera from Panama. Einar Diaz. Olmedo signs. They all know each other. See each other a lot in the offseason. And Jose will get another bat. Getting ready for an 0-2 pitch.
You really have to give Oka a lot of credit for settling in the way he has after that rocky first inning. The Cubs just jumped all over him. The Derek Lee homer, followed by a Burnett single, followed by a Ramirez homer. It would have been easy for a lot of guys to collapse at that point and not get out of the first inning, but he was able to right the ship and has held the Cubs to 1 run since then.
Again, game 1 on Friday will be at 3 o'clock on the south side. Good job just to stay alive on a very low pitch. Of course, everybody from Panama, I mean, you know, you look, if you're a hitter from Panama, the one guy you think about is Rod Carew. 3,053 career hits for Rod Carew. We've talked about it. Jose Macias said his hero growing up was Rod Carew. Another 2-strike offering and another foul. These guys were teammates at one point with the Montreal Expos. Struck him out. On a high fastball. Or out number 1 here in the 7th. It's 4 Ks for Oka. He has walked 1, but it was an intentional walk of Derek Lee.
Well, you can see Damian Miller giving the high target, the up the ladder fastball, trying to get Macias to chase something out of the zone, and he did. So Ned Yost pacing around that first base dugout over there. His pitcher Tomo Oka scheduled to lead off the bottom of the 7th inning. You know he wants to get him through this inning and then just pinch hit leading off the 7th, or rather for the bottom of the 7th. If he has to go get him here, you either have to bring in a pitcher just to get you out of this inning and then pinch hit for him, or make a double switch. Chances are at this point in the ball game, with the depth that they have in that bullpen, even though they've been pretty ineffective lately, you got to believe he's just going to bring in somebody to get out of the inning, pinch hit for them, and then bring in another pitcher in the 8th. Of course, at this point, don't have to worry about it. Oka's got 1 out, nobody on base.
Well, Nafee snapped an 0 for 15 with a single in the 3rd inning. 1 for 3 on the night. 1 ball, 1 strike. Foul tip for strike 2. So this next pitch for Oka will be number 100 on the night. He threw a complete game shutout his last time out in under 100 pitches.
Jose Macias, now Nafee Perez having a hard time laying off of that fastball up out of the strike zone. It looks so tempting because Oka does not throw that hard. His last 2 fastballs have been in the mid-80s, but elevated just enough so that the Cubs hitters can't get on top of him and drive him.
Big crowd here tonight, 40,126 for game 1, and 3 more after tonight. Tomorrow night, Jerome Williams will make his Cubs debut against right-hander Victor Santos. On Wednesday in game 3, Carlos Zambrano and left-hander Doug Davis, and then Lyndon Rush, former Brewer, will face Ben Sheets. Popped up behind third, Cirillo makes a catch. Had his back turned toward home plate when he made the catch.
Joe Cirillo has always been a very sure-handed, very accurate throwing defender. Makes that play look relatively simple. It wasn't that easy where he started from to get to that point and make that catch.
So it's Patterson with 2 outs and nobody on. Stole his 10th base after a single in the 5th. Cirillo in at third. Ball 1.
See if Oka attempts to elevate that fastball on Corey Patterson. We know that's a pitch that Corey has some trouble with from time to time.
Oka is rather demonstrative. We talked about when he was at the plate early in the game and there was a called strike. He had a kind of a funny look for Phil Cuzzi. Looked very frustrated after that 1-0 pitch. And a little stare down after ball 3. Shake of the head. Wipe of the brow.
Well, right now Corey needs to look for one pitch in one zone, and if he doesn't get it, take it.
Here it is. Base hit. Ball was shaded up the middle. And Corey able to single the left, so he's 2 for 4 tonight.
Well, he'd definitely take that, a base hit the opposite way, although I don't think that's what he had in mind when he started his bat to swing at that pitch. The fastball up and out over the plate, got jammed just a little bit, actually jammed himself a little bit because certainly there wasn't enough velocity on that pitch to jam him, but he gets a base hit nonetheless.
I don't know if they have a stat for how many trips to the mound a pitching coach makes before a particular hitter, but I would have to think Derek Lee probably leads in that category in the National League. See a lot of pitching coaches head out there right before he steps into the batter's box. You can understand why he's hitting .390 with 19 home runs.
This is Derek Lee's home run back in the first inning to put the Cubs on the board. It was plenty high enough. There was some question whether it was deep enough, but it got into the bullpen out there in left center field. That meeting to the mound could possibly have been about Corey Patterson over there at first base once again. You know, if he wants to steal, let's let him steal, and then we'll just walk Derek Lee. But Oka's paying some attention to him, the step-off move, and a quick look over to first base to see if Patterson indicated what he might be doing over there. So the pickoff attempt here. I mean, you really have to consider Derek Lee at this point in the season, much like teams have pitched to Barry Bonds throughout most of his career. And if that guy on first base ahead of him wants to steal a base, I mean, you send him a bouquet of roses and say thank you and walk the next guy.
Derek with an 8-game hitting streak has 15 hits during the streak, hitting the home run tonight.
I remember in my playing days with the San Francisco Giants, there used to be stories told by old timers that there were occasions that Willie Mays would hit a ball in the gap at Candlestick Park and stop at first base to force the other team to pitch to Willie McCovey.
Derek asked for time, and I don't think he got it, but he did get ball 2. See, when you're struggling, you ask for time, you don't get it. You get one right down the middle.
Yeah, when you're going good, it's out of the zone and puts you in a 2-0 count. Ooh.
Now the Cardinals a winner tonight in Cincinnati, 6-1 the final. So the Cardinals continue to play well on the road, and right now the Cubs are 10 out. Only 2 teams among the 6 in the division are even over 500. Long pause, and Oka over to first again.
Oka borderline balking on his pickoff moves to first base. He's not really making much of a step with that left foot toward first base.
Here's the pitch, and a base hit center field. Patterson on his way to third. Ball gets away from Brady Clark. Patterson should be able to score easily, and he will. So an insurance run here in the 7th to make it 5-3. It'll be a single, and the error on Clark allowing Patterson to score. And that's going to be it for Tomo Oka.
Derek hits it right off the end of the bat, just over the infield. Ball took a big hop at the very end and kind of handcuffed Brady Clark in center field. And once again, that speed, we talk about it all the time. More than just the stolen base, the ability to score from first base when that ball is mishandled in center field.
So Oka's night is done. It is time for the Ford call to the pen. It'll be veteran right-hander Ricky Bottalico when we come back with the Cubs leading 5-3.
Maybe you can't always count on the stock market, or the real estate market, or commodities, or currencies, or even gold. But with the lowest cost of ownership in its class and the best brand resale value ratings, the Accord is one of the best automotive investments you can make. The Accord from Honda. Now you can lease an Accord LX sedan for $199 a month for well-qualified buyers.
Calling the Mach 5. Come in, Speed. Trixie calling the Mach 5.
I'm in the middle of a race, Trixie. Don't talk to me now.
Speed, listen to me. The bridge is out ahead. You're in extreme danger.
The bridge is out?
Don't worry, Speed. I have good news.
Tell me, Trixie.
I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I hear that you guarantee all your work. Is that true?
Yes.
Can you have our van ready in time for the canoe trip this afternoon?
Absolutely.
Are your 3,000 certified mechanics guided by the ideals of the young voyagers? He's one of us!
Visit Midas and get brake pads or shoes for $39.95, plus installation. We'll provide a written estimate for installation and fully explain any additional work needed. For mechanics known for their work and their word,
Trust the Midas touch.
It's right-hander Ricky Bottalico to come on and face Jeremy Burnitz. Derek Lee with another 2-hit performance. He's had 2 hits in every game on this road trip, and he sends Tomo Oka to the dugout. Derek with a multi-hit game in 7 of his last 10 contests. Pitch to Burnitz. One hopper at Overbay, who will step on first to end the inning. So that run ends up being unearned and could be a big one for the Cubs. They now lead by 2 once again. It's 5-3.
Welcome to California.
We run.
We rip.
We fly.
We swing.
We believe.
We believe in Nirvana. We rock!
And we've got our own motto.
So come on. Come on.
Come on. Listen to my wife.
Find yourself in California. Fly Southwest Airlines' new nonstop service from Chicago Midway to San Jose for just $84 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
Hey, Cubs fans. Looking for a new way to get to Wrigley Field? Try riding your bike. There are several bike racks surrounding the ballpark. Or drop off your bike worry-free at our Bike Check service. Located on the corner of Clark and Waveland, your bike will be attended to in our private lot at no charge. If you can't ride a bike, remember, public transportation is the best way to get to Wrigley Field. For more information, visit www.cubs.com.
Chevy's proud to have the best-selling full-size SUVs 5 years in a row, like Tahoe with best-in-class fuel economy. We've always broken the rules. Now we're rewriting them. Introducing for the first time ever, the Chevy employee discount for everyone. You pay what we pay, not a cent more. Get an 05 Trailblazer LS 4-wheel drive with an MSRP of $29,400 for a Chevy employee discount price of $23,386 after cash back. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers today.
For a good.
The Arby's regular roast beef sandwich. Come in today and get 5 of them for only $5.95. It'll have you and 4 pals saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
Thursday, June 30th at 1:20, the Cubs will take on these Brewers. Kids will want to come early to be one of the first 10,000 kids to receive a Cubs Got Milk growth chart. There is no purchase necessary. For complete rules, visit Cubs.com. It is 5-3 Cubs, bottom of the 7th here at Miller Park. And a new pitcher for the Cubs. It's right-hander Michael Wirtz taking over for Greg Maddux. 36th appearance for the right-hander Wirtz, and he's going to face Prince Fielder, who will be the pinch hitter. Fielder called up a week ago to be a designated hitter in interleague play, and the original plan was to send him back to AAA. But the Brewers are going to hang on to him at least for this series, as he'll be a pinch hitter, may get a start at first base. They are very excited about him. We talked about Ricky Weeks. Prince Fielder, the 7th overall pick in the 2002 draft. He's the son of former slugger Cecil Fielder, 21 years old. Unlike his father, he's a left-handed hitter. And sends a ground ball to second. Walker will throw him out. So it's up to the bullpen the rest of the way. Talked about it in the open. The Cubs bullpen the last 8 games collectively has allowed 11 home runs and has an ERA of 8.44. But tonight working with a 2-run lead. And it's right-hander Julio Santana out in the Brewer bullpen. Five 3 Cubs. You know, Bob, the last couple of years we've been hearing so much about the Brewers farm system, which has been lauded around baseball as one of the best. And of course they've had a lot of high first-round draft picks the last few years. Well, we're starting to see some of those guys now in the big leagues. J.J. Hardy not getting the start tonight, but has been playing shortstop basically every day. Ricky Weeks, Prince Fielder. Kicking a 2-1, and it's now 3-1 on Clark, who's already reached 3 times. Although he was thrown out trying to stretch that single into a double in the first inning. There's a walk, so the tying run's going to come to the plate.
You're right. It's one thing to have all those high draft picks and get the talent into your system, but then you also need some good coaches and managers at the minor league level to prepare those guys for the major leagues. And the Brewers have done a nice job of sprinkling guys with major league experience throughout their minor leagues. Guys like Don Money, Gary Pettis, John Tamargo, Mark Littell. So they've got a lot of coaches and instructors in their minor leagues that are doing a nice job of getting these guys ready to come up here and contribute probably before they're ready.
Let's see Remlinger and Wellemeyer. We saw Rem up earlier, and Larry Rothschild's going to come out. The other problem's been walks. for the last 27 innings for the Cubs bullpen. 14 walks, including the free pass tonight.
You may remember we talked about it briefly in the open about the bullpen's problems lately, and part of the problem was they nibbled too much early in the count, fell behind hitters, and then had to come in with good pitches in hitters' counts.
Throw over to first, and Clark is back. Pitch way high. Well, at one point, Jeff Cirillo hit over 300. 4 straight years and 5 out of 6 years. Really struggled in Seattle. His career average right now, 297, 3-0 on him. He's bounced around a lot the last few years. And Wirtz has walked back-to-back hitters here in this inning. And the problem now is twofold. The Brewers have 2 men on, but they also have Overbay and Lee coming up.
Well, it wasn't much of a good pitch sequence anyway. Brought to you by Midas. First pitch in the dirt, second pitch neck high, and off the plate away and low once again. Michael Wirtz not even close with those 4 pitches. And Dusty really taking his time getting to the mound. Mike Remlinger, a guy we know takes a long time to get loose. I'm not sure if he's had enough time to get adequately warmed up.
So Wirtz is out. He recorded 1 out but walked 2 after that. Ford called to the pen time. Cubs lead by 2, but the Brewers have 2 on with 1 out.
Hey. Hey, Tim. So, how was Father's Day? Kim get you anything?
Yeah, actually, she got me this camera phone. It was 2 for 1, so she got 1 too. What'd you get?
Don't be a jerk. What are you looking at?
This year, it's good to be dad. Buy one Samsung A670 camera phone from Verizon Wireless for $49.99 and get a second one free. Then start calling on the nation's most reliable wireless network.
Johnson said you wanted to see me?
Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Call tonight? Yep. Come on. Coming through.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
Oh, yeah. They've got a little captain in them. Because at the end of the night, they do whatever it takes to get home safely.
Next time you drive,
drink responsibly. Captain's orders.
Moving Forward is the #1 selling car in America. Moving Forward is an SUV with the lowest fuel cost in its class. And Moving Forward is a great value on any of Toyota's award winners at the Toyota Sales Drive. Visit your Toyota dealer now for $700 cash back on Camry, $750 cash back on Sienna, or $800 cash back on Highlander. Hurry for great selection, outstanding values, and award-winning quality at the Toyota Sales Drive. Now that's Moving Forward. Toyota.
Well, Michael Wirtz walked a couple after getting 1 out. Not too pleased with his performance tonight. So it's Mike Remlinger, the left-hander, coming on. He'll face a left-handed hitter, Lyle Overbay, who has hit .218 against lefties this year. Remlinger, however, has allowed a .320 average to lefties. Beautiful night here in Milwaukee. We get into the summer months. Let's see, June 20th. I guess it's the summer solstice, correct? Just the longest day of the year.
I'll buy that.
Tonight or tomorrow. So first and second with one out, and it's Overbay batting against Remlinger.
Overbay leads the Brewers team, grounding into 9 double plays on the season.
The tying run is at first. Chanting "Oh" for Overbay. Here's the first pitch, right down the middle. So Rem with a fastball for a strike to start this at bat. Outside. Remlinger has allowed 4 of 14 inherited runners to score this year. He's retired 16 of 21 first batters.
So far, Remlinger going after Overbay with all fastballs, all 3 at 89 miles an hour. Remlinger's outpitch to a right-handed hitter is the straight changeup, a pitch he doesn't use as much to a left-handed hitter. His approach so far has been very good, pounding with fastballs, especially on the outer half of the plate and down. Try to get him to roll over one of those pitches.
1-2, check swing, no. Emphatic call from C.B. Buckner down at third.
Very close. But it looked like he was able to hold up.
Two the count. Here's the pitch. Got him! Remlinger with a big strikeout of Overbay. 2 down.
After showing Overbay a breaking ball out of the strike zone on the 1-2 pitch, he comes back with a fastball right down the middle of the plate. Overbay obviously looking for something else, just can't pull the trigger. Nice pitch.
Not out of the woods yet. It's Carlos Lee is 0 for 3. Well, Remlinger against right-handers has been stellar. He's allowed a 152 average to right-handed hitters.
I think basically that's because of that straight changeup. That's Remlinger's best pitch, his out pitch, the one he has the most confidence throwing to a right-handed hitter. Really sells it with that arm speed, makes it look like a fastball coming out of his hand. He flips it up there about 10 miles an hour slower than his fastball.
Here he comes on a 1-1. Blew that one by him at 89, and it's 1-2. No hits in the inning. Back-to-back walks.
Elevates a fastball here, goes higher than high. That's a pitch Carlos Lee just can't get to.
Cubs fans are on their feet. And a lot of them here in the ballpark tonight. It's 1-2. Struck him out. Remlinger pumped up. He strikes out Overbay looking, and then Lee swinging. So Mike Remlinger gets a couple of huge outs to get out of the 7th inning as the Brewers strand 2. It's 5-3 Cubs.
Edgar, I shall take the voice of this lovely woman.
This is Trump?
And put it into this damn.
Why?
To tell the world the benefits of Aflac with sex appeal.
Brilliant, sir!
I know. Now throw the switch.
If you're hurt and can't work, Aflac can help pay your bills with cash.
Genius! And her? Aflac!
Four-door sedan. Four-door sedan. Oh my.
The stylish Nissan Altima has a higher residual value than Camry LE. So you can lease the Altima for just $199 a month. Check it out.
Jack Daniel's whiskey is made with great care. Please enjoy it the same way.
The Cubs host the Nationals Friday, July 1st at 1:20. Make sure to arrive early to be one of the first 10,000 adults to receive a Cubs Grade T-shirt, compliments of Pepsi. No purchase necessary. For complete rules, visit Cubs.com. That's a lot to read here. All right, giving the price of everything. But the ball game here, priceless. Mike Remlinger striking out over Bay and Lee to get out of the 7th inning. So 8th inning now, Cubs up 2, and it's right-hander Julio Santana on to face Aramis Ramirez. Foul tip for strike 1. Don't want to forget Derek Lee with the 2 hits tonight. The home run and the single now has 100 on the year. Going back to 1960, the fewest games needed for a Cubs player to pick up his 100th hit prior to this year was 70 games by Bill Madlock back in 1975. Well, Derek getting to 100 in game 68. And Derek has had the upper hand on Carlos tonight.
Our Lee's better than your Lee.
Carlos still leading the RBI department in the National League by 2.
Man, oh man, what a great job by Mike Remlinger to come in there and face the 3-4 hitters from the Brewers lineup. They're 2 big run producers. Pick up his teammate Michael Wirtz by punching out the last 2 batters to end the inning. And a rare show of emotion for Mike Remlinger as he came off the mound.
Well, it's been a rough stretch for this bullpen.
I mean, ideally, that's what you do. You know, teammates pick each other up. One guy has a little bit of a rough stretch. Somebody else comes in there and bails him out. That's exactly what happened tonight. Michael Wirtz couldn't find the strike zone for a couple of hitters, put 2 runners on base. And Mike Remlinger came in to bail him out.
Full count on Ramirez. The 3-2 swing and a miss. That one at 95 from Santana. Todd Walker 1 for 3 with a double.
Not sure if it's by accident or by design, but the Brewers pitchers are attacking a lot of the Cubs hitters above the top of the strike zone today, elevating fastballs, letter high and above.
Oh, a breaking ball for a strike on Walker. Now 0-2. By the way, just changed things up with the word of the night tonight. The word of the night is onomatopoeia, which we didn't actually use in the broadcast, but I did use boom, buzz, and squeak. Now, onomatopoeia is a word that imitates the sound it represents. So if you're really into the English language, you would have noticed that we did that tonight. A little bit different tonight. Another quirky left-hander. And Walker strikes out. 2 down in the inning.
I believe Joe Walsh had a song named onomatopoeia.
You might be right. Yeah. Saw Ryan Dempster sitting out there in the Cubs bullpen. He would love to have a save opportunity tonight. Unless, of course, the Cubs, he wouldn't mind if the Cubs scored a bunch of runs here and he was able to close it out in a comfortable setting. But Cubs haven't turned the ball over to him in a save spot very often lately. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Santana, and it brings up Hollingsworth. It was cued past the pitcher, and Hollingsworth will reach right off the end of the bat. And it'll be an infield hit.
You know what they call that? That's a thing right there. Hit it off the very end of the bat with a lot of English, back up the middle of the field. Spins it past the pitcher. That ball's still spinning on the infield grass. And with Todd Hollingsworth's speed, he's going to beat that out easily. That's a thing. You got to have a bunch of things during the course of the season to even out all those line drives that get caught.
Well, we saw Wirtz in the 7th inning. Remlinger bailed him out with a couple of strikeouts, and it might be Wellemeyer in the 8th. Of course, we had seen Michael Wirtz in the 8th inning. Everything fluid right now in the bullpen because of some of the struggles. They pitched out, and Hollingsworth was not running. You know, we can ask Dusty after the game about Wirtz starting the 7th inning. Again, a guy who has been in the 8th inning. The 1-0 is hit foul. And, you know, sometimes you think about setting up your bullpen roles, and, you know, you want to make sure you can get to those late guys with the lead. So he went with Michael Wirtz right off the bat in the 7th inning. Wirtz walked a couple, and then Remlinger came on to end that inning. And again, we're seeing Todd Wellemeyer warming up for the 8th, not a spot he has pitched in a lot with the lead this year.
Once again, much like we talked about Ned Yost earlier, hoping to get that pitcher spot to the plate in that inning so he didn't have to worry about pinch hitting for him. Well, we see Enrique Wilson out into the on-deck circle. You know Dusty would love to get him up to the plate this inning and be able to insert Wellemeyer into that 9 spot and not even worry about his spot coming up. A lot of times that will enter into the decisions that a manager makes. You know, what kind of condition is your bullpen in? When does that pitcher spot come up again? Am I better suited to double switch right here so I can use this pitcher for 2 innings? Or do we have the flexibility to pinch hit?
Yeah, it's something they didn't have to worry about for the 3 games in New York. And Blanco went around and that's a strikeout. To the bottom of the 8th from Milwaukee, the Cubs lead 5-3.
Nothing's hotter. Cadillac. Breakthrough. The Cadillac employee discount for everyone. You pay what we pay.
Really worthwhile.
Animals also possess several.
Burnett's deep to center field. This ball is way back. Out of here. Jeremy Burnett with a home run.
Oh, yeah.
Are you fan enough? Nobody does baseball better than Comcast Sportsnet. Catch the Cubs all season long. More games, more news, more passion.
Get the best baseball experience this summer by entering the Crosstown HD TV Sweepstakes. It's your chance to win one of 3 Sony 42-inch HD TV sets during the Crosstown Series June 24th through the 26th. To enter, go to ComcastSportsNet.com. Link to Chicago and fill out your entry. Or send in a postcard to the address on the screen. Then watch the Crosstown Series on Comcast Sportsnet to find out if you're a winner. We're giving away 3 TVs in 3 days. Only on Comcast Sportsnet. Nobody does baseball better.
Time now for the Cadillac Sports Night Update.
Hi there, Carrie Sayers back in our Comcast Sportsnet studios. Mark Pryor will throw a simulated game tomorrow to test his injured right elbow. If the Cubs decide that Tuesday will be his last simulated game and he's given clearance, Dusty Baker said it's a possibility he could pitch Sunday in the finale against the White Sox. More on that story tonight on Jim Beam Sports Night after Cubs postgame live. But now we'll send it back to Len and Bob in Milwaukee. Guys.
Carrie, thank you. Mike Remlinger is going to start the 8th inning. We saw the pinch hitter on deck, Enrique Wilson, but Henry Blanco struck out to end the inning. So it'll be Remlinger facing Bill Hall, the shortstop for Milwaukee. Cubs lead 5-3. Hall singled his last time up for his first hit, scored a run, and drives one to deep right center. And nobody going to catch it. It is off the fence. And a stand-up double for Bill Hall.
Hall showing good power to the opposite field. Actually posed a little bit on that one. He thought he hit it better than he really did, about halfway up the wall in right center. See Burnett shying away from the wall and knocks it down with his chest. If that ball gets by him, Hall's on third base with a leadoff triple.
Ball one on Ricky Weeks. Greg Maddux went 6 innings tonight. Allowed 7 hits, 3 runs. Walked 3, 1 intentionally. And had a pair of strikeouts. Michael Wirtz, a third of an inning. And he walked 2. And now it's Remlinger. De La Rosa's a lefty. Turnbow's the closer's a right-hander. And it's Will Ullman and Ryan Dempster. We saw them chatting a little bit earlier. Nafee going out, makes a catch. Here's Jeff Jenkins. Former All-American at USC. if the Cubs should turn to Ryan Dempster here in this 8th inning, of course they would go with a double switch and ask him to hit the final 4 or 5 outs. Will Ullman getting loose just in case here in this inning. And again, Bob, it's just a completely different set of circumstances when you manage, and you're a bench coach and a pitching coach and a bench player in the National League. Everybody on that bench has to be ready.
Well, really, you have to know who made the last out of the inning before. In the event of a double switch, you have to be prepared. Sometimes the next to the last out, sometimes even the first out of the previous inning, depending on who that person is and whether or not the manager's likely to take him out of the game as part of a double switch.
For instance, if Derek Lee is a guy who made the last out, he's not going to come out as part of a double switch. And that one's going to get down in left center, and it's going to send Bill Hall to the plate. So Jenkins with an RBI single, and it's a 1-run game, 5-4.
And you would think at this point a double switch would be an easy one to make for Dusty Baker. You get a look at this little jam shot floater that drops into left field. With Henry Blanco making the last out of the top of the 8th inning, you would figure that Michael Barrett would come in along with the new pitcher. And Barrett would lead off the top of the 9th inning, hitting in that 9 spot, and the pitcher would go in the 8 hole.
It's like somebody might be telling him that very thing as Dusty goes out and gives Phil Cuzzi the changes. So Ford called to the pen time as Phil Cuzzi wants to know exactly what Dusty's going to do here. And it looks like he wants the right-hander Ryan Dempster, the closer. We're in the 8th inning, 5-4, and we'll be back to Milwaukee.
And now they're trying to take my life away.
Now when you buy a specially marked 12-pack of Heineken, you'll get 2 music downloads from Rhapsody and have a chance to win Sirius satellite radio and subscription, concert tickets from Ticketmaster, a subscription to Rolling Stone, or music downloads from Rhapsody. No purchase required. Go to Heineken.com for details. Responsibly means you must be 21. For more information, please visit EnjoyHeinekenResponsibly.com.
The Saab 9.3 with turbocharged performance and an estimated 30 miles per gallon highway. When you ignore the status quo, anything's possible. Saab, distinctively designed, independently inspired. And now with the Saab employee discount for everyone, you pay what we pay, not a cent more.
Robert Morris College is one of the largest private colleges in the state. We awarded more bachelor's degrees in business management than any other private college in Illinois. A school where everything is cooking. Where students design a path towards their future and turn their dreams into reality. A college that will test one's inner strength and create a competitive attitude. It all leads to a collegiate experience that's like no other. Robert Morris College. Real college for the real world.
New battery for the Cubs, Michael Barrett. Real catch, and he'll bat 9th, so he'll lead off the 9th inning. And Ryan Dempster has not had a save opportunity since June 10th against the Boston Red Sox. He has pitched just once since then, a scoreless inning against Florida on Wednesday.
There haven't been a lot of savable games in that span. A lot of blowouts one way or the other.
Facing Damian Miller, strike 1. Ryan Dempster has not been asked this year to have a save of over an inning. He has to get the final 5 outs. How about a double play? And they will get it out at second. The relay is in time! Oh, baby, what a double play! Nathy got to it. He got it to Walker, and they get the slow-footed Miller on the return throw. What an end to the inning. That's a great play by Nathy. He doesn't want a day off tomorrow.
See, the guillotine is gonna squeeze your ugly little head till it pops like a cherry tomato. You know why? Why? Because you're ugly. You're so ugly, and if ugliness were bricks, you'd be the Great Wall of China. Whoa. But don't be a little crybaby. Well, the guillotine brings you good news. What's that? I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Add up the savings at your local Ford store. Get into many new 2005 Fords and get $2,000 to $4,500 cash back. Plus, current Ford owners get an extra $1,000. Plus, finance through Ford Credit and get an extra $500 to $1,000. Add it up. $2,000 to $4,500 cash back. Plus, $1,000 in owner loyalty cash. Plus, $500 to $1,000 in Ford Credit cash. Only until June 30th. Add it up at your local Ford store. Built for Chicago. Built for the road ahead.
Now when you buy a specially marked 12-pack of Heineken, you'll get 2 music downloads from Rhapsody and have a chance to win Sirius satellite radio and subscription, concert tickets from Ticketmaster, a subscription to Rolling Stone, or music downloads from Rhapsody. No purchase required. Go to Heineken.com for details. Responsibly means you must be 21. For more information, please visit EnjoyHeinekenResponsibly.com.
Get ready for an exciting Cubs finish. Brought to you by New Finish Car Polish and the #1 rated scratch remover, Scratch Doctor.
You can't turn it any better than this in such a huge spot. Napey got to it. Look at the flip.
And Todd Walker with his back turned completely to that base runner, knowing where the bag is. Takes that backhanded flip from Napey and just wheels around and throws to Derek Lee with a nice stretch. And the Cubs had the right guy running down that first baseline. Damian Miller, bad back and all. Just couldn't beat that relay. That's as good a double play you'll see in a clutch position of a ball game at any time.
Michael Barrett pops up the first pitch of the 9th inning. It'll get back behind the screen for strike 1. Boy, Dusty asking his closer to get the final 5 outs. He gets 2 on 1 pitch to get out of the 8th inning. You know, going back to the question about Wirtz in the 7th inning, I think the bottom line is he's just going to go right now with the best guy available at that time. And Michael Wirtz was his guy in the 7th. And again, Dempster hasn't worked a whole lot lately. So I'm sure the thought process even going into that 7th is if we need Ryan for more than an inning, we can do it tonight. And that's how it has played out thus far. One and 2. There are some games in which you kind of stack the deck. And after 4 straight losses, this is a very important one for the Cubs tonight.
Yeah, first game of a series in a new city, coming off a sweep. Big game to win tonight. Do whatever you have to do to win tonight. You worry about tomorrow.
Santana has recorded 4 outs. They've all been strikeouts.
Splitter off the outside corner.
Cubs trying to get their first win here at Miller Park this year. They were swept the last time around. Napey went. Top 4 in the Cubs lineup tonight. Has reached collectively 8 times and has scored 4 runs. Out of the way. I'm watching. Fouled back by Nafee. Cubs have led throughout. They were up at 1.4-0. Kick and a 2-2 and a base hit to right. Nafee 2 for 5. And the Cubs with 11 hits.
Nafee likes that ball down from the left side of the plate. You saw the Brewers try to elevate a fastball on the pitch before. This is a slider down and in. Nafee just drops the head of the bat on the ball, finds that hole on the right side of the infield.
It's been a good night for Corey with 2 singles, a stolen base, and a run. That was a big run in the 7th inning. The 5th for the Cubs. He asks for time, and it is granted time by Phil Cuzzer. Kurt Schilling trying to speed up his rehab. He had a simulated start today. Terry Francona said good sign, but not going to try to persuade anyone in the Red Sox organization to quicken the pace. That one's fouled back. Schilling threw 65 pitches in Cleveland today before the Red Sox game. He's been on the DL with an injured right ankle since April 24th. Of course, he had off-season surgery on that famous ankle.
Knowing Kurt Schilling, he probably looked at video of the hitters in the simulated game.
No, he takes it very seriously. Yeah, you're right. That's in there. 2 strikes on Patterson. Scott Rowland activated from the 15-day DL the other day. Missed 33 games with a left shoulder strain. And we mentioned the Cardinals with a 6-1 win in Cincinnati tonight. Russ Ortiz going on the disabled list for the first time in his career with a strained right rib cage. He had never missed a major league starting assignment prior to be put on the 15-day DL on Saturday. Oh, 2, and that one gets away from Miller, allowing Perez to go to second. And it's a wild pitch on Santana. So Nafee now in scoring position with 1 out.
Ball took a big bounce, a slider in the dirt over near the feet of Corey Patterson. Might have hit that toe hold, caused it to come up as high as it did. Normally you would say, hey, they're probably talking about, hey, do you want to walk the left-hander to get to the right-hander? But that's not just any right-hander standing in that on-deck circle. So Mike Maddox is saying, listen, let's bear down, try to get Patterson out. We'll walk that big guy in the on-deck circle and take our chances with Jeremy Burnitz.
One ball, 2 strikes on Patterson. Nafee led with 1 out. Smacked a single to right. Moved to second on the wild pitch. Didn't mean to. Still 1-2. Julio Santana has been throwing hard tonight. Signed as a minor league free agent in December.
He struck out a batter an inning this season. Coming into play tonight, he'll increase that ratio. Also, it held the opposing hitters to a 114 batting average.
I mentioned it earlier. The Brewers bullpen has had a rough month of June. Coming into tonight, a 6.18 ERA here in June. Bullpen's ERA through the first 2 months was right around 3. Swing and a miss. So Patterson strikes out. Santana with 5 strikeouts.
You'd like to see Corey make a break for first base. I don't believe he realized this ball got away from Damian Miller behind the plate. Hit him in the heel of the glove and then hit the ground. At least force the Brewers to make a throw. And I don't think Corey knew it got away from Miller.
So for the second time tonight, Derek will be intentionally walked. This will be the 8th intentional walk for Derek this year. Todd Helton leads the National League with 11. But it's strange not to see Barry Bonds, because of course he's injured. Last couple of years you'd see Bonds at 47 and the next guy at 10.
It's funny too because Todd Helton is not having a good offensive year, but given the relative youth of that Rockies lineup, Helton has still drawn the league leading number of intentional walks.
So they'll go after Burnett, who has 2 hits tonight. Single, double, RBI, and a run. Same numbers, 2 for 4 for Burnett against Julio Santana. Last time up, he faced Ricky Botanico. Well, with the specialization of relievers, Jeremy's faced 3 pitchers tonight. Well, there are times you'll face 4 or 5 guys in one night.
That's one thing that makes it really hard to compare numbers of past baseball eras to today. It's a whole different story when you see the same pitcher for 5 at-bats in a ball game.
Cubs want at least another run here. Add some insurance. Won't get it. Santana. 2 innings, all the outs, swinging strikeouts. To the bottom of the 9th, it's 5-4 Cubs.
Check this out. It's the Mercury Montego, made right here in Chicago. Montego reinvents the car with one great idea after another. Can your car do this? Go ahead, cross your legs. There's plenty of room here. Lots of room here, too. Front-wheel drive or even all-wheel drive.
Now lease the front-wheel drive Mercury Montego for $269 a month. Discover Montego and rediscover Chicago. Enter to win at mercurysummertodiscover.com.
If there's one thing baseball fans can agree on, it's Major League Baseball on XM Satellite Radio. Every team, all season long. And now, for a limited time, buy an XM Satellite Radio and get a second radio free, so you can enjoy even more music, news, sports, and talk. XM Satellite Radio.
Give your engine what it wants. Pennzoil with time-release molecules delivers non-stop protection throughout the life of your oil. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Get a $15 MasterCard gift card when you buy a case of Pennzoil Platinum Motor Oil at Pep Boys.
The Kraft Eye Institute upcoming schedule. We're on Comcast Sportsnet for Game 3 Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Again, Ryan Sandberg will join us Friday and then again on Sunday as the Cubs take on the White Sox. Switch hitting Chris Magruder will pinch hit to lead off the ninth for Milwaukee. Magruder recently missed a couple of days to attend the birth of his first child. He and his wife Rachel welcomed Robert Joseph into the world on Friday in Arizona. Ground ball to short. Nafee up with it. 1 out. Ryan Dempster trying to pick up his 9th consecutive save. And trying to save it for Greg Maddux, who would get his 6th win. Strike one. Again tomorrow night, Jerome Williams, a 23-year-old right-hander, will make his Cubs debut against a guy who's had all kinds of tough luck this year, Victor Santos, whose earned run average is 2.87, but he's 2-6. 1-2. Jeff Cirillo on deck. Kick and the pitch. A check down at first, no swing. And that evens the count.
Well, that might have been an occasion where the fact that Brady Clark chokes up on the bat allowed him to hold up there. Usually guys that get down on the knob of the bat have a much harder time of stopping that barrel before it gets out in front of home plate, but Clark can't hold up that time.
2 outs in the inning. Ryan Dempster got a big double play ball to get out of the 8th. 2 outs here in the 9th.
Good hard slider just on the outside corner. Clark hitting out of that exaggerated stretch. No stride at all, just trying to protect the plate with 2 strikes, but too good of a pitch from Ryan Dempster.
So he'll face Cirillo with 2 outs. Cubs are 11-9 in 1-run decisions. A ton of strikes. He's thrown 12 pitches and has missed just twice. Got him! And that'll end it. And while Jeff Cirillo argues with the home plate umpire Phil Cuzzy, the Cubs celebrating a big win tonight. So the Cubs hold on the final tonight, 5-4. Rich Donnelly getting into it. Ned Yost coming out. Dusty Baker very happy. The bullpen did the job tonight.
Not sure what all the argument is about. Looked like a pretty darn good pitch to me. Cirillo immediately slammed his bat to the ground, then argued with Phil Cuzzy. Donnelly got involved. Now Jerry Crawford, the second base umpire, is involved. Look at that last pitch of the ball game. Well, perhaps the fact that Michael Barrett was sitting so far outside made Cirillo believe that that pitch was off the plate, but it looked pretty good.
So the Cubs getting early runs here tonight. And Greg Maddux now tied with Tom Seaver, 17th place on the all-time wins list with 311 career wins. And our Hyundai player of the game, after you see Michael Wirtz come out, he walked two. I'm going to give it to Mike Remlinger. 2 huge strikeouts to end the 7th inning over Bay. And then the National League RBI leader, Carlos Lee. Let's go down to the field. William Jackson standing by with Derek Lee.
Yeah, Derek Lee is the man. I tell you guys needed to get a win after losing 4 straight. This is the way to get it back.
Yeah, Maddux gave us a huge effort. We needed to stop the losing streak. And we came out, played intense, and played a good game.